Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nuuli Forged. We are back, baby. Technical difficulties be damned. I got my computer fixed, so now the stream's here. The stream's live. We're live. Hi, I'm live.
Yay!
Hi, Dad. I'm live. Haha. Anyway,
Ew.
or hi, live. I'm Dad. I guess that's the joke, but whatever. Welcome to Nuuli Forged. Hey, I've got it. Thanks for the excited Pikachus. Much love.
Yay, Pikachu's!
Yay, Pikachus. We are live. Hey, NYC Zombie has joined the party. 5 months with their Prime subscription. Woohoo!
Woo!
That's a fantastic and exciting news. Excellent. It seems like we have an Amber joining us as we speak. Here we
What?
go.
Yay!
What? Who? Huh?
Yeah, we're gonna get into the right frame rate here as soon as we get some video. Gotta love Discord. Oh my gosh! And I've got it has joined the party. Subscribed for 20 months. The time has been flying. Thank you, I've got it. You are the best. We heart you big time. As Amber is the coming of the Lord. Holy shit balls.
Pikachu.
The Lord Sauron.
The Lord,
yeah.
our Lord
Yeah.
Sauron.
Jesus.
Oh my God, our gay Lord Sauron. What the hell's going on now? This is amazing.
I think she
We
might
are
be a
doomed.
dumpster fire.
Glorious explosions.
Oh, it's
I think she might be
fantastic.
the dumpster fire.
That's my job.
Hey now, don't get too excited. Anyway, hi, welcome to Nuuli Forged. We are a 5e actual play D&D stream where me and 5 of my friends here, who are fantastic, wonderful people, play some D&D in the homebrew world of Nuuli that came out of my brain. And they're pretty brave to venture there, because sometimes it's a little dark and twisted and wacky.
We are all
Join
just
the-
prisoners here.
Join the club.
Of our own device.
On a dark desert highway, you feel cool wind in your hair. A
All of us
warm
confused by the
smell of
highway.
Bolites rising up through the air.
I thought we were in a swamp.
Oh, shit, fuck, wrong notes, sorry. Well, hey, let's get some introductions done, but first, I need someone to roll me a d20. Dun dun dun. Let's find out. Who's
I
gonna
vote
do it?
Amber. Amber wasn't here last week. Or last time.
Very well. Roll the die of destiny, Amber.
14.
14. Oh, this is going to be very interesting then.
Oh shit.
Yes, and I've got it as right. Perhaps Amber was here, but there was a spell storm. Nuuli's effects are far-reaching and multiversal. Spell storms are a thing. Anyway, please, players, introduce yourselves, introduce your character, and tell us, what are your character's views on fame? Would they want to be famous and well-renowned if if you don't think you are already? And would you really like it? Would it be too much? And if you think you are famous, how well do you think you handle it? I think this is going to be an interesting answer. And we're going to start at the top of the stack with Amber. She knew it was coming.
Just because I'm chewing. I know,
Yeah.
I was thinking the whole time.
Yep.
Well,
He's like, he's gonna
I'm
pick
Amber.
me.
I am always eating. At least when playing.
That's true.
I play Greg, the Goblin Artificer. And I mean, let's be real. Greg and the Misfits is pretty famous. It's not like peak famous, though. Pretty sure peak famous would be awesome. But this level of famous is like great. It's like just enough. We got some notoriety. We get good gigs. But really, I want to be famouser. I need a song. I think a song would be good. I'm not like into making them, but I think
On a
yeah, it'd be
dark
cool.
desert highway.
Yeah, that's got a good ring to it.
Goblin with no hair.
Yes.
Parodies I can do. However, performing them, you're putting yourself in danger. There's a reason I karaoke.
Al Yankovic.
Indeed.
I should play you sometime my cover of instead of Call Me Maybe, it's Roll D20.
Oh Jesus.
Oh no.
It is fantastic. There's a Will Wheaton reference. It's amazing.
Interesting.
But that was Amber. Thank you so much, Amber. Moving on down the line to Sarah.
Hey, that's me. Hey, I'm Sarah, and I play Olive, the half-orc druid. Yep, that's what Olive is. And Olive and Fame is oh fuck no. She's gonna go back to her cave if that's the option. Olive is very happy to be seeing the world with these people, but this is as much of the world as she is interested in seeing. Like, she was previously pretty pleased with being all by herself.
There.
Spoot needs to work on Olive a little bit, sounds like.
Hey now.
No, I mean to like encourage the traveling thing.
Sure, I know, I got you.
She's cool with travel. She's cool with the traveling and adventuring, but like she doesn't need people to know who she is.
Fair enough. Hopping on down to Tanner.
Hi, I'm Tanner. I play Nereus the human.
Wow,
What
okay. We're
character
changing.
am I again? Azamar Sorcerer, Jesus Christ. And
Did you just say
Fame.
that Nereus was a human ranger?
So
No,
many
I
characters,
said
so little
human.
time.
Fame. I think Nereus would be okay with it in the beginning, and then just get really annoyed by the lack of privacy.
Fair. I think that's how I would fare too. I would be like, oh, this is cool. Oh, people bother me all the time. Get out of here.
Yeah. What do you mean I have to talk to people?
Mm-hmm. And hopping on up to the little jut out we got, Matt.
What'd you call me?
You're a jut out.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the jut out of the party, also known as the turtle cleric. Knowledge
Named?
cleric, to be exact. Named Spoot. It's getting there, maybe. I might have
Okay.
forgotten.
I trust you.
It's on my character sheet right here. Spoot, male, turtle cleric,
Mhm.
level 11. Spoot doesn't much need fame. I suppose maybe Spoot's a bit apathetic. I don't know if he really would understand what it's like to be famous until maybe he was, but he certainly isn't looking for it.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, thank you all very much. My name is Jared. I'm the Dungeon Master here on Nuuli Forged, and I play everyone and everything else that is not our 5-player characters. As you can see, Mike will be joining us a little bit later. Sometimes real life and work get in the way of fun, and we all hate that, but we all understand it. So Defect will be along shortly, I am sure. But unless anyone has anything else, let's dive into Last time on Nuuli Forged. Last time on Nuuli Forged, the party had just arrived on the western shores of the Dragon's Tail and settled down for the night. However, a strange mist rolled in, and during the night, Nereus vanished. The party searched, but could not find any trace of him, not by communing with the land or intensive investigation and even tracking. Not a sign to be found. Foiled by the mist, which they could barely see through, and unsure what to do, the party resumed their watch, hoping Nereus would return on his own. When dawn broke, Olive came in to wake the others and found Nereus had indeed returned into his bedroll as if he had never left, save that he looked to be very exhausted. When interrogated, he related a strange experience about being in a mist-covered castle with strangers trying to defeat some sort of enemy. Shortly after the party began their day and the mist evaporated off, the party was approached by a strange-looking individual named Val Barracks, who Spoot eventually realized was a fairly well-known dragon who protected Triangle Bay, known as the Wreck Diver. They were investigating the cause of the mist and, along with the others, put together that Nereus had been pulled into a strange dimension known as Barovia, and was considered lucky to be alive after facing the Lord Strahd who ruled the place. Through conversation, they also revealed that they knew a copper dragon, which sparked a memory in Spoot. he remembered that the party required the aid of an ancient copper dragon to destroy the acid of a ancient copper dragon, to be specific, in order to destroy the phylactery of Zinniandu, the Ragefire, also known as the Dracolich the party had defeated not too long ago, actually. After this meeting, the party spent some days wading through the swamp until they arrived in Mucklow, Spoot's hometown village. There, they met the village elder Moolv, Spoot's uncle Newt, and Spoot's parents Spack and Joot, and of course Spoot's 1-year-old baby brother Hoosp, who not even Spoot had met before. After catching up with the family, Spoot took his friends to meet Vlink, an old flame, I suppose you could say, and Plek, one of Spoot's favorite people from home, which is where we pick up with the party meeting Plek on the docks of the Swamp of Mucklow, or the swamp in Mucklow, talking about some fishing, and Plek calling Spoot reckless for him and his friends going and attempting to venture further into the swamps of Lograil, into the ruins of the ancient sunken city of Osmag. So, dear friends, we pick up, you are on this dock. There is Spoot, of course, talking with Plek, who is, pardon me, who is a fisherman person, salvage expert. She is fairly tall, and is like an alligator snapping turtle, so with like the pyramid style shell. But yeah, she's been quite friendly towards Spoot and you as an extension thereof.
Yeah, what did we say last? Something about her chastising us for wanting to go into...
Yeah, you have told her that you intend to travel towards Osmag, and she looked at you and said, "Boy, that is a way to go to be in trouble."
I know. And I would like to maybe speak about this further. I could use any information either you or Newt or our dear old wise friend have on the area, but yeah, I feel like it is...
Well, it is a bit of a forbidden place, and all I can tell you is the legends and rumors say it is full of danger, where the dead can come to life and attack, horrible monsters. It is not a place to vacation.
That sounds just like the Embering Elms. Shit came back to
No,
life.
but it sounds like every place we've been.
That
Yeah,
too.
I mean, what's a vacation without a little
Well, the
danger?
spell storms in their time did kill a lot of folk.
They did.
True story.
So these magics are not to be trifled with. Perhaps they'll wear
A lot
away
of
over
them
time, but
stated.
perhaps not. It's hard to know.
I'm afraid to say I think there is an equally or greater magic presence at work in the world that is far worse than anything in Osmag. And Osmag may hold the key to stopping this potential threat. So, it's kind of been what we've been up to.
Well, if you're going to do it, you better do it.
Well, not without some extra counsel. I think I still know my way to the burrow just outside town.
Oh, well, Yuna's still there. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you.
Well, maybe it's time to see her. I had a mind to do some fishing, but we got all serious about this talk of Osmag, so maybe we can...
Well, the deep
head
cats
off.
are running pretty well, but you know how they are late-night sleepers. So it's getting to be dusky, so it's about time to start going after them.
Well, I suppose if we had to leave now, I could squeeze in a little time for fishing. We're not planning on leaving Muglow anytime soon.
Oh, I thought you were in a rush. But
Anytime
the longer
soon,
you
but-
put off going into
Anytime
Osmag, the
soon,
better.
like tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we've got time. I mean, always some time for fishing, right?
That's right. Taught you well, I did. How about y'all? You all fish too?
No.
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 It's really a great time. And she pulls a pole that has been like on the side of the dock, and just like kind of absentmindedly as she's talking has like put on a piece of bait and has like slung it over her shoulder. It's really the best form of meditation one can accomplish here in the swamp.
It's true.
I mean-
Maybe that's
I've been a fish.
Ah, well, perhaps you could talk to some and get let me know where they're planning on spawning these this year.
I don't think that would be very fair to them.
Perhaps not, but it'd be sure tasty to me. Now, mind you, I never overfish. I just take what I need. And to be honest, the sport is most of it. But,
I have no quarrel with you doing that, but, it seems unfair to, give you the inside information on the fish. They got to have a fighting chance, too.
maybe. Well, I certainly won't keep you if you've got errands to run, Spoot, but it's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm going to get in my little boat here and go after some deep cat.
Do you think we could convince Newt and Yoon to come take a fishing trip with us?
Oh, I'm sure we could convince your uncle without too much pressure. Yoon, as you know, is a bit more bookish and enjoys her comfortable burrow.
What time does Yoon turn in for the night these days? Maybe I should pay her a visit in the morning.
Yoon has never kept to a schedule, as you well know.
Well, we'll see.
She sleeps when she gets tired of reading.
That is true. If I see the candle burning at the window, maybe I'll know. I can pay her a visit. But I think for now a little fishing may do me some good. Do you mind if I see if Newt is around and can join us?
Oh, not at all. If
you got room in the boat for us.
Of course. Well, I've got room for one in my boat. If you want to use another, you are certainly welcome to do so.
Spoot's gonna... Do I have enough messaging spells left? If so, I'm just gonna send
probably, because it's been a couple days since you talked to Paduke back in Barteria.
I'm gonna use one to send a message to Newt to see if he wants to come fishing. Tell him to get over here right quick.
Okay. You get a response back. My boy, I'd be happy to. Just one moment, my dear Spoot, my dear nephew. I shall be there most presently.
Spoot will turn to the party and say, well, does anyone else want to come, or should I show you my where to set up the tent in my cabin or my house if you want to use it?
I would like to get away from all these mosquitoes.
Yeah, I don't need to deal with
I mean,
that.
Spoot, you could always show them the mud bar if your friends would be more comfortable there.
Mud bar?
Poorly timed bite of food, sorry.
It is the
Oh, yeah.
local drinking establishment, of course.
Are they mosquitoes?
Is
Well,
it actually made of mud?
Well, I mean, there is some mud in the construction, of course, as most of our dwellings do have.
Nears is just gonna keep itching his arms. As long as I don't get bitten anymore, I'll be happy.
Oh, well,
You
just
can try
a
wearing a
moment.
shirt.
If they're bothering you so bad, and she reaches into a satchel on her side and pulls out a handful of these, kind of pointy-looking leaves and just folds them in half, and you see this, gooey sap come out, and she rubs it on her claws and then just rubs your arms, kind of slides her hands down, and you feel this, slick oil go on. That's almost is, about to sting, and then just kind of soothes, and no more mosquitoes bother you.
Where can I get a couple of these?
Well, they kind of grow everywhere. You just got to know where to look. Yeah, and she gives you a small, like a pouch of them. That should hold you for a couple of days, I think.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. If you're going to be in the swamps dressed as you are, you should probably find some.
I forgot mosquitoes existed for a while. Didn't really.
It was something the Embering Elms had going for them.
Yeah, and the ocean. By the ocean, there's not many of these.
Well, true enough, I suppose. True enough. But we do get them here. They don't bother us much, but I understand that humans and such are more susceptible to them.
Yeah, they don't bother you, but I'm probably a buffet in this swamp.
In more ways than one, I can assure you.
Oof.
And she winks at you.
Game everywhere. Where's this mud bar?
Well, Spoo, if your uncle's going to join us, do you want to take them?
Yeah, I'll show him to the mud bar.
It's not far, just a few moments away.
Where's the mud bar?
It's about 6 minutes away.
Yeah, it's only about 6 minutes away. As the turtle walks.
Yep.
I feel like this village is like when I go and visit, the South after living in New York, and I'm like, why is everybody so slow?
It is
Walk
a slower pace of life. It's true here in Muckla. And it appears we have a defect coming on in.
With his new television show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, Mike. Welcome. Spoot is just about to show you all the local bar and then go fishing with Pleck and his uncle.
Excellent.
You can
Better
come
than this
fishing if you
anymore.
want.
Rest
we
of
have
us are going to the mud bar.
Yeah, or you can
That
go to the mud
sounds
bar.
fun. Let's go to the mud bar.
All right.
Okay.
You show them to the mud bar. It's fairly happening. It's got a good 15-20 turtle in it. So it's not overcrowded, but it's a little full. It is. You can find a table though, and people definitely notice you. And Spoot gets a few "Hey, Spoot, you're back. It's nice to see you."
Welcome back to the family.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
Spoot, the owner. How much time do you think Spoot spent here?
Actually, that's a good question. I think Spoot was probably one of those that he was always the first one in the bar and left when the crowd showed up. He would just wanted somewhere maybe quiet to hang out.
So then
early
you
happy
know.
hour.
Yeah. So then
These guys
you
are
know who
checking
the
in.
owner is here. You know the owner is Poit.
Narf.
Point. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, I sure do, Spoot.
I brought some friends. I hope you don't mind. I know it's maybe a bit crowded tonight.
Oh, it may be crowded, but did you ever think maybe it's called a crowd because there's so many people?
That does make a lot of sense.
Well, I thought so. It's nice to meet you. My name's Poit.
We'll go through the
Hi.
introductions.
Yep.
This is Defect or Greg.
Oh, I've never met anyone like y'all, but you sure are welcome here. Poit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry about that.
I missed it. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go fishing with Pleck and my uncle Newt.
Sure.
This bunch decided they'd hang back, so first round is on me, and I'll settle up in the morning.
Oh, fair enough. Word's as good as your bond here. No worries about that. Why is a word as good as a bond? What is a bond? I don't know where that comes from, but I guess it's a turn of page.
I'll look that one up.
Oh, I'd appreciate that.
Nearest's eye is just gonna slightly twitch at this guy.
Spoot ribs him a little.
Greg's mouth just keeps opening and closing. And
I swear they're more talkative usually. I'm sure they'll loosen up after a round or two.
Oh, well, that's the way it works, I guess. All right, you have fun now, Spoot.
Good night. Oh, and put the tent. Did I show them my house as I walked to the?
We know where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the tent anywhere that makes sense, or you use my house. There's not much in it, so there's plenty of room.
As long as I don't get bitten by something, I'm good.
You have enough of that. What is it, like a nectar, I guess?
Yeah, it's like a sap from the
juice.
leaves.
Sap, yeah. I should have enough of that sap to last you, at least until we get to Osbank.
Hopefully find some on the way. Enjoy a fishing trip, Spoot.
Good night.
Bye. I'll
Okay,
miss
bye.
you, I think. Wait. How long are you gone?
And Spoot walks out.
This is Matt leaving session again for another 3 months.
Oh, wait. Okay, now I understand maybe why Greg asked that. Spoot wheels back around. It's just for the night. I'll be back before it gets too late. If you need to
Okay.
sleep before me, though, don't wait up.
Okay.
All right.
Then Spoot leaves.
All right. So
We're
Spoot
all gonna
leaves.
try to blend in at this bar.
Yeah, Point looks at you all. Oh, gee. Well, what can I get you all tonight?
What is your sweetest, most expensive thing?
Oh, well, Turnt has quite the, he's got a couple of different sakes he's been working on. One of them's pretty sweet.
That.
All right. One sweet sake. And the rest of you?
I guess sake.
All right.
Whatever.
2 sakes?
Okay.
4 sakes?
I'll do
Sure.
a whiskey.
All right.
What kind of
We
drink
got a
do you
whiskey.
think?
Yeah, it's becoming a habit. I think it's from hanging out with you guys too much.
Well, it's a
Doesn't
good
need
habit
to,
to have
just
in
does
my
it.
mind. Point.
Oh my god.
Well, I'll get you those drinks in just a moment.
Great.
So he goes away to acquire your beverages.
Point.
Yep.
Narf!
He doesn't. He didn't narf. He just pointed. But looking around, you see a variety of turtles in here, with all kinds of shells and different kind of species representation. If you want to think of turtles in that way, but you see all kinds of just turtles being turtles. You do all recognize one particular turtle in here. You recognize the large kind of hulking turtle, the yellow-bellied slider-looking individual who kind of blocked your path earlier. You recognize Turnt.
That's the.
Be nice.
Yeah. You see him. He is off near the mantle, kind of holding court with a few other people, talking boisterously about something. But he's got 5 or 6 people listening actively to him, and other people just kind of milling around having their own chit chats.
Is this the guy that we're supposed to beat up?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Love it. I don't know why Greg was asking that. Greg would know.
Yeah.
Uh,
think we should
the
maybe
one
find-
the one that talks back to Spook.
Yeah. I feel like maybe we should find a corner to put behind us, because I feel like being in a crowded bar full of people with very large shells is not going to go well for those of us who are squishy.
I have made such a mistake.
Point returns with your drinks, and since Spoot offered to pay for them, he doesn't give you any problems. So you all find a table and sit down to have your drinks, and we transition to Spoot returning to the docks just as your Uncle Newt is strolling up with a fishing pole and a little satchel. Ah, my dear nephew, it is good to see you.
Oh, I'm glad that you made it in time. This worked out quite well.
Ah, yes. Plek is often solitary individual, but she and I go way back, so let's enjoy some time together, shall we?
Well, thank you, Plek, for making an exception for us. I'm sorry if I intruded.
Oh, don't you worry none about that now. You all get in. Spoot, why don't you join me, and you can use one of the other boats. And so you all get in. You know, they're just small little, like, low, like barge style, like swamp boats. So you all get in and go up to around the bend. Kind of, it's a little darker here. Plek hands you a fishing pole. Your uncle is not far away. Like, you could easily have a conversation over the water. But he is like feet out and kind of like line in. Like, he's kind of comfortably fishing as opposed to actively fishing, if you know what I mean.
Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. It's been a while since I've gone for the nightcap.
Well, you know, the secret, of course, is to get the bait low in the water.
I feel like this is a part of a video game where you're going to have like really important dialogue, but you still have to play that puzzle, so I have to press A at the right time and like wiggle my joystick.
And then 2 seconds before you catch it, it gets away.
Yep.
Like every other video game.
And then some like really important plot point interrupts, and we all have to go back to shore. Because my friends I left behind at the tavern have started a brawl, and there's now Mucklows on fire.
I was gonna say Monster Hunter, where you're fishing, and then all of a sudden the T-Rex comes over and tries to eat you.
Hey, could happen. It is Nuuli. So you all begin fishing, and you know, it's fun. It quickly brings back memories of nostalgia of like the many nights and years you spent fishing with both Plek and occasionally Newt joining you. But yeah, Plek is the one who you really like garnered your love of fishing from. So she like, you know, gives you little like, nah, you got to twist your wrist a little more when you cast, kind of things.
It's like bowling. Yeah, I'd like to think Spoot, you know, is gonna relish a little time and maybe meditation. Put his thoughts of Ozmag behind him maybe for just a little bit and try to ask them, you know, mostly about the swamp. How's it been? What's new? What have I missed?
Yeah, so they both relate to you. Essentially that they talk a bit about what your father mentioned to you, that there's been some lizard folk causing ruckus, but no actual violence has broken out. Up from pardon me. From up in Bonelay, they have, you know, come around and are being arrogant and rude at some points, but not overtly violent. They're like in a spot for a while, and then they move to another spot and spend a while there. And anytime the turtles interact with them, they're just like, "Hey, get out of here! This is our spot for the time being," and it's a whole thing.
Okay.
But no actual violence has broken out yet. Your uncle is of the opinion that they might be looking for something.
What would they be looking for? I mean, they don't really farm, do they? It's not land, is it?
Well, lizard folk are as accomplished as anyone else. Some of them farm, some of them hunt. I think they mostly prescribe to hunting. But that doesn't mean they cannot be searching for anything, really.
True. Well, I just meant it sounded like this bunch was a bit nomadic, maybe, but maybe they are just looking for a place to settle.
Well, they
I
haven't
mean,
outright built any sort of dwellings or nothing, but I do say they are. I suppose the best way to put it is pushy, and they do try to scare off folks by showing their big muscly arms and flashing and putting on displays and such. But so far they well, I haven't been there. This is just what I've heard through my friends in the guard. But they have just sort of preened their feathers, if you'll pardon the expression.
I see. Well, what is it do you suppose they might be looking for there? Is there a particular item? Is there something of value in this area we're not aware of?
I mean, quite possibly. Who knows what secrets the swamps hold beneath its muddy waters?
Well, if anyone does, it's probably Plek.
I have found many things in my time here in the swamp. Sometimes you find a place where there's quite the cache of old forgotten items. And other times you search an area for months and don't find much of nothing. Truth is, this area, this whole Swamp of Lograil, seems to be a collection point for all sorts of things that come up out of the ground. Sometimes it's very dragonborn-y kind of stuff, like very dragon rich. Sometimes it's more dwarfen, and sometimes it's just like human, or sometimes it's halfling. I found all manner of things. I found lockets with halfling imagery in it. I found a bust of a human woman who is quite handsome at some point. All sorts of things have I found, my dear Spoot. The point is, the swamps... how can I put this? If you know where to look, the swamp can yield results. But you never know what those results are going to be.
Have you ever crossed paths with a lizard folk out scavenging?
Of course. They
They
live
give
up
you any
in
sort
Bone
of
Lane. It's
trouble?
not that hard.
They give you any sort of trouble, though?
It depends on the one. Some folk are a bit ornery. Some folk are a bit more just ignore you and leave you alone. Generally, there's some form of acknowledgement, and then we'll go about our separate ways without much interaction. But I've had a friendly encounter with one or two in my time.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I never really thought they were much of an enemy, but
I don't think they are, in general.
well, perhaps I should. I don't know. Maybe we pay a visit up there. I'll see for myself what's going on. I'm a little nervous to take my friends up there. They do kind of have a way of getting ourselves into trouble sometimes. Maybe caution isn't.
Well, that is something we are all familiar with, ain't that right, Plek? I should never have followed you those times, but here we are.
Well, come on, let's out with it. Any tales of y'all's misadventures that I've yet to learn in my time growing up here?
Your uncle immediately starts talking about this time he managed to convince Plek to go with him on a boat that actually sailed through the boiling strait up to Clifftown. And how exciting it was to be in a city that was carved into a cliff and like had different levels on it. And Plek is just there like, yep, it was different.
Didn't sound very excited by it.
Well, Plek is not a very like excitable individual, unlike your
Yeah.
uncle.
That's true. That's very true. Oh, what a pair, the two of them.
Yep.
Uncle, I after they told a couple of stories, I think Sweet will divert the conversation a bit. I've been wondering, that old What was the gift he gave me? It was a set of bone dice.
Yeah, bone caltrops, actually.
Bone caltrops. That old set of bone caltrops you gave me.
Oh, yeah.
Can you,
Been in the family for generations.
yeah, can you tell me again why we've had them in our family for generations?
Oh, sure. About, I'd say 8 or so generations ago, our ancestor, one Took, was a traveling warrior band member. You know, he went out and did some adventuring in his time. Apparently, he fought some form of a bone creature, bone snake, I believe it was, and took some spoils as a result. He and some of the others of his acquaintance, that is. And they took trophies, I suppose, is the easiest way to put it. Not too unusual, all things considered. You defeat a powerful enemy, take a little something to remember it by. You know, bit like taxidermy. Anyway, those caltrops, they supposedly straight from the vertebrae of that thing.
Oh man. Well, I've got a confession to make.
What's that, nephew?
They're not in the family anymore.
Oh, did you lose them?
Yeah, turns out that creature that they came from wanted them back pretty bad.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, kind of surprised me too, considering that I didn't think anything else would recognize them other than myself. But yeah, we stumbled upon, I think, the very creature that they were taken from to begin with. I don't know really any other way to describe it.
Well, I do say. And you defeated this thing, or you befriended it and returned itself to it? I'm interested. I'm a little confused here, nephew. You gotta give me a little bit more than that.
Yeah, that's neither of those, I'm afraid. Truth is, it nearly killed my group of friends.
Oh no!
And it seemed like the only thing to be able to satisfy this creature and possibly save our lives was to give up these caltrops back to it. I have no idea what harm that might have caused, but it certainly... Well, no one died that day.
Well, if you saved your friends, then you did the right thing, I think.
Well, it still haunts me a little bit. That thing is still out there, but I don't know if it ever make its way back here for any reason. But I think you should just be aware.
Well, they did not fight it here in the swamp. They fought it off in a desert, I think.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because that's where we found it.
Well, it wasn't mountains. Anyway, it wasn't here. Is my point.
Okay, good. Well, I'd hate for it to find its way back. I don't think it's interested in Mucklow, but just in case it had any sort of vengeance to seek.
Well, if you gave it back what it was missing, then I doubt it would desire to find you again, I suppose. But it's good that you gave him up so your friends could live in a non-violent solution.
One of our few, I think. Spoot chuckles a little.
Back at the tavern, the rest of the party is just a pain in the ass.
What a perfect cutaway.
Leave us alone.
You're all horrible, horrible people. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I'm thinking out loud.
You realize the stream can watch your chat, right? Like, they know how horrible you all are.
Oh my gosh, I haven't been watching the chat. What is it? Oh.
Yeah, no, we're trying to distract you.
You're all vile, vile people.
Wait a minute, I have to take a moment to read this now.
All right, well, Matt gets caught up. Back at the tavern, you all are not causing this ruckus. What are you doing at the tavern?
Oh, Lord.
I mean, we keep speaking about it, but we never do it. But Greg messaging Fluxus, or doing the sending stone.
Mm-hmm.
From the bar?
Yeah, because we kind of gave him our number and then never called.
It's true.
We ghosted him. Sort of.
Yeah.
You left him working with a project, and so he's probably been doing that. But yeah, you have not checked in with him since you saw him, which was months ago at this point.
Last year.
We thought at one point we
Yeah.
discussed like that we would check in on the regular, and it was just sort of. But
Just
he
like
also could call
it
us,
ended
like,
up
if
being
anything
like Scoot
happened.
contacting
Yes.
the two.
Sending stones do work both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we can do that. We don't have to do that in the bar though.
No.
I mean, it
Olive-
is like a mental thing. You don't have to like speak.
Oh, well then I guess I would do it. Why not?
I mean, you can speak, or you can do it mentally. It's whatever you want.
Okay. I forget. Fluxus, we gave him the blood shard. The other guy is the one with the thing we have to destroy.
Phylactery.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fluxus has the blood shard and we're looking for his ring.
Right. Okay. Sure. I will sit my sake, glare at the guy we don't like, and use the sending stone to say, "Hey, Fluxus, you alive?"
A few moments go by. Oh, right. Yes. Hello. I've been working on this shard you left. It's been quite fascinating. I'm very close to having something for you.
Cool. Wait, I can't. Oh, I can. How many times can I do it?
I
have to
believe.
look at the stone again.
Double check your sending stone, but I thought it
Yeah.
was a once a day thing.
Yeah, I think it is once a day.
Oops. Oh, that's good though.
There you go.
He's not done.
He's not dead either.
Not done, not
Also
dead.
not dead.
I'm not dead yet.
These are two very important things to know about someone we've associated with at any point in this game.
And
They're
now-
not done, and they're
Project
not dead.
Mankind.
And now the whole of Mucklow.
Who needs
I'll-
Mucklow?
While this is going back, all of us is going to lean back in her chair and try to eavesdrop on the guy holding court.
On turn? Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I remember how to do that. Yeah, sure. 7.
Cool. It's not hard. You catch most of it. He is talking mostly about how his latest fermentation process of his new sake is going to revolutionize his brewing and fermenting processes, and how it has produced the clearest, most harshest bite of a sake. Essentially, it's rice wine is what he's making.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is just like talking about it, and it seems like this group of 5 or 6 people that are listening to him are other like sake enthusiasts or perhaps small brewers themselves, and they're not exactly sharing like the exact method, but they're talking about things they have tried and stuff like that. But
Turn back the table.
yeah, but Turnt seems to be like the one they all kind of respect the most. And
back
he
to the table.
sounds
Yeah.
very magnanimous in his like discussions. Like he's not giving them any attitude.
Cool. Well, apparently this guy was an ass and he's boring, so...
I mean, I could have told you that.
I think he has some issues.
I mean,
Did anyone hear anything? I thought I heard spoot.
Don't make a bar ruckus. This is not spoot. This is your conscience.
I don't know, but I think I'm about to lose control of some of my magic.
I won't pay your bar tab if you do.
I think the bar tab would be the least of your concerns. So, what was it? Plick? Plick was the one.
Yeah,
Like,
the snapping turtle. Snapping turtle.
Yeah. So, Osmag is full of undead. This is going to be fun.
It's not like we haven't seen undead before.
I know, but it's...
We've dealt with worse.
Just in a swamp, I'm imagining the smell.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's going to be delightful. I still have this incense we can burn.
I don't know what smell is worse. Your incense or a floater.
God, that's vile.
I mean, it seems like most of the places we're finding these shards in the wild, they are guarded by undead, frankly.
Are they?
Well, the one came from the vampire. The one was in the land of the flaming undead.
That's fair. Well, Winton, there weren't any undead.
No.
It was just a cult.
Sure.
Although I don't think that's much better.
No.
But regardless, it just doesn't seem very fun. I'm just not. I'm more undead, mosquitoes, the
The
smell.
question is that were they undead when they and then are guarding the shard, or did the shard make them undead?
Well, you guys said this is a purple shard?
It's an orange shard. Orange.
Orange. What did the orange
Fallen
do
City of
again?
Osmag. Orange is the mind shard.
Oh, that one sounds fun. Unless it makes you dumb.
It's
opposite.
definitely better than the drain and null shards we've come across more recently.
Well, the null shard, that's the one that Defect has.
Yes, that's the one that we took out of the sea serpent.
I would have been completely useless against that one, so I'm glad you got that one out of the way now. Then. Because magic is literally all I can do.
There was a lot of polymorphing involved.
Oh, I bet. Oof. But mind, I wonder what this one is gonna entail. I hope there's not some like smart undead.
Ooh.
I mean,
Usually, what we have going for us is that undead are pretty stupid. Although the vampire guy wasn't especially stupid.
I mean, one could argue.
I mean, you missed the vampire guy too, so.
Oh, I was there. Oh, wait, there were more vampires?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the original vampire.
Is that gonna be
Yeah,
a thing that you guys run into a lot? Because I don't want to fuck with that.
Well, that's
I mean, I
what
hope
I'm
not.
saying is it seems to be a trend.
Alright. Well, maybe we should start bringing some pointy sticks.
Or round up some more clerics.
I was just gonna say, maybe I need more friends.
Or make sure there's more sunlight.
Easy to do in a swamp.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a hefty spell for that, right?
Yeah.
I chose not to take it.
It'll be fine.
Oh,
What could
It'll be
possibly go
fine.
wrong?
Oh.
It's just two wolves.
It's just two wolves, guys.
Just werebores.
Yeah.
No, it was even worse. They were
The
dire
worst.
wolves.
We were
It's
hyenas.
just a shrubbery.
Was it hyenas or the dire wolves?
I think it was they were like oh god, what were they? Hyena something.
They were like hyena things.
Oh lord.
And there were werebores.
There were those at one point.
They were werebores.
It's
So
true.
bear everything.
Where,
How long's
oh,
Spook going
where?
fishing? Did he say?
You know, I've been playing a lot of like indie fishing games lately that are horror themed, and I'm thinking,
Really?
Horror themed fishing games?
yeah, it's a niche.
That's
It's really fun. I'm
It's
thinking
a
like
niche.
maybe Spoot needs to get out of the swamp.
You did leave for a reason.
Uh-huh.
The night fish to rule them all.
There's secretly a vampiric, like, mega eel in the swamp that's just gonna, like, rule. the
Swallow
undead.
them up. The boats come back empty.
I thought it was gonna be the Bayou Witch.
I bet there is a.
By you,
Yeah.
witch? By you, witch what? Okay.
But
Thank you, dad joke. All right.
This is the second one.
It was the
Spits.
3 seconds of like dead air that really sold the joke. All
We're here
right,
for
so you have contacted Fluxus. Seems like he's close to whatever. Do you want to do anything else during your tavern time?
No, I'm
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, as you're there, the party, or as you're there, the rest of the place begins to like thin out until it's just like you and a few other folks. Turnt is one of the ones who is staying, and like his like cronies have kind of all gone home, so he's just sitting at his table, sipping a glass of sake.
Is he looking turned?
He always looks Turnt.
Good.
But he is looking. Well, make a perception check or an insight check, actually, to see if you can determine how
Turned is.
Turnt he may or may not be.
I mean, I'm equally bad at both of them.
Until someone's drunk, and then you're like,
On a
"I've been
natural
there."
20. On a
Yeah.
natural 20.
City of Pirates, man. I know drunk.
Fair, yeah. You are familiar with the signs of people being drunk. The largest sign is usually the like stack of glassware that indicates empties, of which there is a pile of carafes next to him, at least 6. So, and from the bit of sake that you've had, it's fairly strong. So. He's probably he probably might be a little toasty, yeah.
So, guys, it's just a hunch, but I think he might be a little bit inebriated.
No.
I know it's a big guess.
Bar?
A drunk in a bar? Surely you jest.
Well, what are we gonna do to him then?
Don't call me Shirley.
Thank you, I was waiting for it.
Who said that?
I don't know. Someone that's not here.
Well, as you are having this discussion, Turnt gets up and saunters over to the bar in your direction.
Oh, he is really
Does he make
taunting
eye
you with
contact
conflict.
us?
I cast chain lightning.
He approaches you and goes up. Pardon me. I feel as though I was cold to you upon your arrival.
You were.
I have a bit of a history with Spoot. And unfortunately, you found yourselves on the receiving end of some of that. And I do apologize for that if I insulted or offended y'all.
It wasn't so much insulting and offending us as it was the rude comment to our friend in front of us. Our comments.
Well, sometimes people don't get along for whatever reason. And
That's fair.
Spoot and I, he has always been. The point is,
He's always been the point.
you could
Yeah.
say that. The point
Point
is
is out.
that Spoot
Was Spook
and
bullied
I.
the whole time?
The point is, Spoot and I have a long history of button heads, and he grates on me quite something fierce, and just his whole bearing of trying to brush off everything like it's nothing is infuriating to me. Everything's always, oh, sure, no, you're the best. It's great. Like, it's so condescending. But
Tanner feels that.
I understand that you are friendly towards him, so I apologize if I insulted y'all.
You didn't
Anyway,
insult us. I would just hate for you to make some more comments and be on the receiving end of something even worse.
I can take care
So
of
maybe
myself.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Anyway, enjoy your time in Mucklow. And he kind of saunters off a bit. And kind of exits the mud bar.
I resisted.
Defect says, so just so that we're clear, this guy hates Spoot because Spoot is too nice?
I think
Yeah.
that's what he was saying.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I mean, that's, understandable. but
After
also,
that,
like,
anyone who wants to can make an insight check if anybody wants to after that exchange.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Cool.
Nah.
I just don't understand because, like, Spoot just means it, doesn't it?
Yeah. We're
All of
just
you are
staring at
very
him like-
confused as to what this guy was trying to say.
All I know,
The
he
most
says something rude again.
None of us were really listening.
least
Don't get
insightful party ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rest of y'all have a +0. I want to point out that I rolled that low with a +4.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, actually.
This is why we have Spoot. Spoot handles this part of the conversation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Jared was really pushing hard, like they're gonna learn something. They're gonna have to talk to this guy. I'm gonna
Nope.
force them to talk to this guy. They
Nope.
learn nothing.
I gave them an opportunity. It was squandered. So back to
The dice. The dice.
The-
the dice.
the dice. Sometimes say no. This is not the story
Yeah.
we're telling.
Oh
So-
wait! I have a thing.
You have a
I'm
thing.
gonna spend a sorcery point and reroll,
Oh,
and hope not for a nat one.
all right. It'll be a
Oh.
3.
Yeah.
Right.
That's still a lot better proportionally. Oh
Oh my God!
You think for a moment more, and suddenly
You're like,
you've
oh,
been
wait.
enlightened.
Flash of
I'm,
genius.
I'm not drunk. I remember
So my
now.
first roll of the evening
Oh
was
my
a natural
God.
20. My second one was a natural 1. My third one's a natural 20. I'm done.
Can we play a game
Only
where every other
extremes.
roll-
Only extremes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right,
that would be a fun game.
Nereus. You have met a variety of people in your time, and you know that sometimes people find reasons to find flaws in others
hmm
for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's because they secretly like are jealous of them. Sometimes it's because they secretly have an attraction towards them. Sometimes it's because they feel like they always had it easier than they did. People find these reasons to create animosity, and you are 100% sure that all of this is like Turnt is the one who feels these things, and he feels them legitimately, but you're pretty sure he's the only one who does. So this rivalry or whatever that he's talking about may be one of his own making, more so than Spoot actually having done anything.
Mm. Okay.
But you don't get the reason. Although with a nat 20, I will say every time he said Spoot's name, there was something more to it. But you don't get exactly what. But definitely something more.
All right.
Maybe we should ask Spoot when he comes back. If he ever comes back. Is he still fishing? Isn't it in the middle of the night?
It's
The hell?
probably been like 20 minutes. I
He
actually
just
don't
said
know.
the bar emptied out.
Oh well, okay. Maybe
Yep.
it's been a little longer.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of
It-
fish. You know, you
It's
gotta-
been a few hours back in the swamp in the bayou, and indeed, Puck has got a couple of fish that she's going to bring home. Your uncle has enjoyed his fishing, and he's mostly been chatting with you while Plek has kind of looked over her shoulder and been like, "Y'all need to be a little more quiet. I'm trying to get Deep Cat here." And so he's been scolded a couple times. But
Sounds like my grandfather.
yeah, so you head back. It's late. You see that most places are buttoned up for the night. Something tells you that like your friends may have caused trouble. Just because you know your friends. Not that
Is there
they
smoke?
did, but there is no
smoke
smoke.
coming
You
from
see
the-
a trail of scorch marks and
A
broken
thunderstorm is still raging. All of the trees are screaming.
trees. Yeah.
We don't know why.
The pines were roaring on the heights.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
but you get docked, and your uncle says goodnight to you both and kind of saunters off home. And Plek is like, "Well, this was fun. I'm going to go home and get some dinner now. Good night, Spoot. Hope to see you again before you leave town."
Yeah, we'll have to try one more. Maybe we'll do it without Uncle Newt next time. It'll be a little quieter. Maybe I'll catch something.
Indeed. Go ahead, roll a survival check for me, Spoot.
Copy that.
Roll it, roll it, roll it. 19. You caught 5 pretty decent deep cats. Do you want to keep any of them?
I'll keep just enough to maybe feed me and the party for, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Whatever that is.
you catch one that you could easily like cook up for a couple of meals if you want to.
Yeah, and if Plek doesn't want the rest, then I'll let him go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Plek keeps her catch, and that's all she wants.
Or maybe Newt, since he didn't catch anything.
Newt was not interested in really catching anything. You notice that he like threw his line in the beginning, and then like didn't really pay attention to it.
He
was-
reels it in and all the bait got munched off.
He was more there for the camaraderie. But Plek does let you know that it's this new Gottitive bait that she's trying.
Oh, wait, where did you find this? I've never heard of this before.
I found it in a recipe book. Well, actually, Yoon found it.
That makes
it's
sense.
a mix of worm and certain fish and other odorous things that you pack into a little ball, and as it forms, it congeals together a bit, and you put it on the hook. It's quite offensive to the aromas, but it works quite well.
It was quite a stinky little ball of something, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does work. That's good to know. I'll have to remember that.
Yep. She gives you the recipe.
Nice.
You are not carrying that in your pack.
Reminds me of stink bait.
Oh, you and your freaking incense.
My incense smells fantastic.
Would it catch a
Yes,
fish?
like this bait.
So, Spoot,
Um,
you head back to the mud bar.
Yeah, I should check on the mud bar just to make
Okay.
sure that nothing's on fire.
Yep.
No one's bloodied up. hanging through
It
the
is still
window.
standing and in one piece, and there is no damage whatsoever.
If it's still open, I'll go in and pay the tab.
Okay, yeah. So the tab comes to about 3 gold and 2 silver after the evening of drinking for all your friends, we'll say.
One moment.
Which Point actually gives you like the silver price, but it equates to 3 gold and 2 silver.
Okay. I'll pay him probably in that since I don't have a lot of silver. Yeah.
You pass over actual gold pieces, and he's like, "Oh, gee, wow, Spoot, you sure got some spending money these days, don't you?" Wait,
Oh, it. Excuse you. Sorry.
What?
Did nothing. It was me. I have a. It's a little. I'm getting a little. Maybe I haven't been in the swamp in a while. I've got a little cough from being on the water.
oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah, no, it's nice to keep a little bit roaming around a lot. Never know when you might need something.
Good luck. Your friends have been quite consumption tonight. It's been a lot of fun. They've been quite nice.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear they didn't cause any ruckus.
Do they cause ruckus?
Yeah, well, occasionally.
Oh well. If I'd known that, I might have charged a little more. But it's okay.
I mean, nothing serious. No, you have a good night. We'll maybe come back one more time. I'll chaperone.
You think they call it? You think they say "have a good night" because they want the night to be good, or because it's a night that is good already? Huh.
I'll look that one up.
Okay. Well, good night. Point.
Okay, on the way back to
Yeah.
see my friends, I think I might pass by, and I
Okay.
just said this out loud, so I don't know if it's canon or not, but I think I might pass by the burrow, and if there is any sign that Yoon might still be awake, I might pop in for a wee visit.
Yeah,
Squeeze it all in.
you can like climb one of the little mounds near someone's hut and take a look out, and in the distance you do see a little bit of a glow that is probably Yoon's place.
What time is it? I mean, am I gonna get any sleep if I?
I mean, it's getting late. Like, it's not midnight yet, but it's getting close. It's probably like 11 or so.
What the heck? It's not that far away, right? I'll go have a little.
I mean,
chitty chat.
it's a good like 15-20 minute walk to Yoon's from here, unless you are bypassing the inn. I guess my question is, are you getting your friends and going to Yoon's, or are you going to Yoon's before?
Oh, I was gonna go before.
Okay.
Since I just missed my friends, I should probably at least.
Well, your friends were in the bar.
Oh, when I went in to pay?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had just. Oh, I got the impression I came back, everyone had left, they'd gone
You
to
don't
sleep.
know where to go. Or
No.
I don't
No,
know.
your friends are in the
No.
bar, and you just kind of walked up and paid and talked to Poit, and then just ignored them
Oh.
utterly.
No,
and
that's
then
hilarious.
said, talk
Oh,
about
you're
how
all
to
here!
breakfast while we're there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a very different impression of what I was doing, apparently. Well, in that case, I'll pay the tab and go tell my friends that I had a great fishing trip.
Oh, good.
Oh, that was funny.
Great. Did you catch any fish?
I caught 5, actually. Not as much as Pleck, though.
We're not having fish for breakfast, are we?
Absolutely not.
Oh, Spoot's whole just like face drops. It goes, no, we don't. That's weird.
Oh.
But it was nice to just be out there and catch up and have some quiet. I think I want to try to stop off and see my friend Yoon before bed. It didn't seem right to not have said hey to her today, and I think she's still up tonight. But yeah, dude, should I take you? Should I show you where to set up the tent first? I mean, you can come with me, of course. But
Should we meet you in? It's not
I mean-
late, isn't it? Late? Everybody
well,
left.
she kind of stays up whenever she wants. I think pores over her books. I might go in first to see, if we're really interrupted, and then we can come back tomorrow. But
I would say, we don't know this person, so dropping by unannounced with a large group of people at somebody's house might be a little rude.
Large group of
Perhaps
drunk
this
people.
Perhaps this is
I'm not drunk.
best for
You're
you,
drunk.
well, okay. I mean, Well, okay.
And then
Well,
Defect would just kind of nudge Spoot a little bit and winks.
Spoots. Wait, what? Oh no, it's not. It's not one of those. But
I know. Mushy stuff. Ugh.
yeah, no, not much.
And then
stuff,
again, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Well, okay. Here, let me show you where where to set up the tent, and then yeah, if y'all ready for bed, I'll come back after I've had a little talk.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I don't really know what else there is to do in Mucklow at this time of night.
Yeah, you
Go to
show
bed.
you show your
I
friends
have to
back
tell
to
the book
your.
what's going on.
That's true.
Yeah.
Could
Is
go
that an all-night
fishing.
diner?
There's a huddle house, actually, now that you mention it.
The hell's a huddle house?
It's where we all go to get close and
Oh wait,
stand
I
beside
did-
each other.
The pirates used to throw those occasionally.
Throw them?
Yeah, where you all huddled together. Oh,
Does it involve waffles?
All right.
sure.
We're getting weird now. Oh.
Inside check? No, I don't want to know. Okay, all right. I'll show them where to put up the tent, and I don't know. Anyone's welcome to use. I don't know how big my hut is. Would it fit everybody?
It would be tight. I mean, your hut was originally built like just your first hut was built like for you, so it was like one kind of like 10-foot round room that you added a couple of like extensions onto. But they're all kind of just like rounded. You just kind of the typical architecture here is just like the hut gets a little more round and a little wider as you go. So you've probably got about like 3 rooms. Like there's like your bedroom, the main room, and like maybe a little kitchenette.
Okay. Well, I'll show them the hut, and I assume there's somewhere nearby that they could set up the tent if that was preferable, with enough
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, right outside your hut, there's enough of space on the mound where like the tent could go if nobody wants to be in your hut, which after 2 years is a bit dusty.
Yeah.
I can fix this.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Digitate.
Yeah, Nears is just gonna start prestidigitationing everything while tipsy.
Fantastic.
You missed a spot. I'm just kidding.
Fuck, Gleisfran.
All right, and
In the house,
only the tent.
The hut
begins to-
slowly smells like.
Yeah, as they're prestidigitationizing, see what I did there? It's like sanitize.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and setting up the tent, Spook will slip out and see if Yoon's still awake.
Yeah, you make your way out to the burrow outside of town, and you see that there is still a light on. Excuse me, there is still a light on at a familiar burrow of Yoon.
Spook does a shy little knock on the door.
Yeah, she is one of the few residents who does not like live in a hut. Her burrow like has some above ground part to it, but she's mostly underground. But she comes to the door, or the door opens, I should say, and you see Yoon, female turtle, long kind of elongated neck with a little like elongated head, very much like a gopher tortoise. And her eyes are very white, almost to the point of like severe cataracts. You know that she has always been very, very nearsighted, which is why she likes books so much. But she looks and she says, "Oh, well, I do say, my land of Goshen, Spoot, you have returned. How glorious!"
I hope I'm not interrupting or keeping you up too late tonight, but I thought it would
Oh,
be
is
rude.
it evening already? Oh, my dear.
Well,
Well, perhaps I should put the kettle on. Do come in, my boy. Do come in.
okay, well, if you don't mind, I'll dust off some mud from... I went fishing with Black and Newt earlier.
Oh, of course you did. Oh, my dear boy. Do come in. Do come in. Oh, you must tell me all about your travels. I am so interested. Do come in. And she shows you in. And her house her burrow is, you kind of go down a few steps, and most of it's down. It is crammed full of like bookcases that are just filled with books of different styles that are like leaning over in various states of repair. She's got a big desk that has like 3 or 4 books on it in different states of restoration, because that's like her big project that she always is doing. And running around, you see a familiar sight that you haven't seen in a couple years. You see her, for lack of a better term, pet raccoon, Skinny.
Skinny.
Which is ironic because it is a fat ass raccoon.
Oh my gosh, Skinny is still here. Would you look at that?
Oh yes, he is. He's gonna outlive me at this point. I think. Oh my dear. Oh well. Hey now, Spook. Oh, you sit yourself right down. I'll get you some tea. You want some tea?
Yes, of course I'll take some of your tea.
All
Do you
right.
want some fish? I don't think I'll need as much as I planned.
Oh, I'd love some. What kind of fish you got there?
Well, it's the night cat, right? That's what I caught.
Deep cat.
Deep cat. It's a deep cat.
Oh well,
yeah,
why sure.
Where would you like me to put them?
Oh well, here you just give me that now. You want some of this now? Put up like how do you want it? You want some fricassee? You want some grill?
I mean, if you're hungry, I won't say no to fish any time of the day.
Oh, that's a good boy. I just found a new recipe for some deep cat in a book not too long ago. Let's try it out.
All right.
And she clutters around in her kitchen burrow for a while, all shouting questions and talking back to you for a while as she cooks, and returns with a few steaks of deep cat that have this like glaze over them. Deep cat as a fish is like a kind of a reddy flesh color. And normally has like a very savory taste, and this glaze over it is earthy but also bright and lifts it all up. It's a very strange thing, but it's like a combination of like mushroom and cilantro or mushroom and spring onions or something like that, but it's tasty.
All right. Wow. Spoot says when he starts. Wow. This is a good recipe. You might have to share this if you don't mind.
Well, of course. I have no problem with sharing information, as you well know. I've been reading you stories since you was knee-high to a pumpkin patch.
The pumpkin patches are notoriously small around here, too, aren't they?
In the swamp.
Well, old Kook had a pumpkin that was 5 feet tall one year.
Really? Whoa. All right.
I mean, I suppose it was about 35 years ago, but still.
Oh, might have been too young to remember that.
I don't think you were born yet.
I don't think so. If I looked at my character sheet, I might know the answer to that. We'll come back to that later. Well, what was I going to say? Well, I think while they're eating, maybe Spoot will ask for one, whatever the latest story or find that she has come across, other than this delicious recipe.
Well, Plek has recently brought her a couple of books that she found like buried in a chest in a area of the swamp at some point. That seemed to be like children's tales from some lost civilization. She's still in process. But she's been working on those for about 3 months now.
A lost civilization. That's pretty fascinating.
Oh, my dear Spoot, there are so many that have been lost. There apparently was a whole tribe that was dedicated to lupines of some sort that had many nations within it, and there was of course Sungrace, which is a bit ancient and old. Well, there have been many, I must say. But don't you worry none about that now. Now, tell me about yourself, and what can old Yoon do for you?
Well, so Spoot will tell her a little bit about maybe a couple of his travels without going too, he's never bragging, of course. I am trying to find the name of it. I do want to ask her if she knows anything about that sort of lost uh, uh, tribe or race or whatever of people that I found when I was on my little solo journey. I think I found it right here. Well, maybe I can't. Maybe I didn't write the name down. Whatever group wrote that little passage that I had read when the Naga came back to
Yeah,
to
no,
sneak
it
before me.
was the Ibn. That was the group.
Ibn, thank you. Yeah, because the Ibn Shade was the big bad guy that they were talking about. Yeah, I might ask her what she knows about that. Anything that she can tell me.
Yeah. She tells you that the Ibn, as far as what she knows and from her research, were a society of mages that were like very elite about 1,000 years ago. She's not sure when exactly they were founded, but they purportedly held great positions of great power and influence in just about every society. That across Nuuli at the time, or at least across most of the known portions of Nuuli. But they were supposed to be apolitical, but it seems they always had some kind of political machinations and bent anyway. They were supposed to be dedicated to the study of arcane research and knowledge, but it seems like maybe they had more going on.
You don't say.
Yeah, I believe they might have. And I'll tell her about the little passage I found and read about. You know me, I don't like to bring gloomy news, but I always must share any knowledge that I've come across.
Well, which passage are you sharing with her?
The one that I read about they're talking about I guess it's the Ibn Shade's description of coming back. I'm trying to find. You know what? I think all that bit of my journey was in the notes that we had put on Discord, so that maybe that's why I can't find it. In my regular notes.
Okay, so you share this this like diary account essentially.
Yeah.
Of like what seemed to be many voices merging into one. And written in many different hands, kind of like in the middle of words and sentences and whatever. And she's fascinated by it. Well, I have never heard of such a thing before. If some of these Ibn did survive and have amalgamated themselves in such a way, why, Spoot, that could be very powerful people, or entity, I suppose.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of, and I have reason to believe that it's already happened. We've met a couple of none to do too good or too, how do you say that phrase? Ne'er-do-wellers that may already be answering to this entity in some form. And honestly, that's part of the reason it led me back here to Lograil. Seems that our journey is taking us to Ozmag.
Oh, my dear boy, why would you ever want to go there?
Well, I believe there's something powerful there we have to reclaim, and then I'll sort of tell her about the short version maybe of the shards and how
she kind of nods. I have never seen such an item, but I have read about them being purloined or utilized over the centuries, ever since the breaking did occur. Any item that has such a thing is very powerful and will undoubtedly be sought after at some point or another. All I can really tell you is that Ozmag was once a great and powerful dragonborn empire. Those who are descended dragonfolk, dragonkin, if you will, and they it lasted fairly long into the breaking until it was subsumed by a spell storm, and well, apparently ended up here in the Swamp of Lograil. And that's about all we know. It's a sinking ruin. Supposedly it was once quite beautiful and attractive and a thriving civilization. But now, oh boy, it is not.
Yeah, it seems that, at least as Pleck puts it there, that the dead don't sleep there. from
Well,
what
that
it
is the
sounds
rumor,
like.
of course. I never haven't been there myself, but it is long since known that to go up that way is to be courting death itself, and that the undead, the unrestful spirits, might just take you out with them.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like a.
And that's not to mention the other dangers of the swamp, of course. Massive gators, crocodiles occasionally. Although the gators usually stay out the crocodiles, but anyway, doesn't matter none.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. My
All
friends-
kinds of monsters. Who knows? There might be elephantine snakes or crazy other monsters. You gotta be careful out there, Spook.
You wouldn't happen to have like maybe a bestiary or something that kind of lays out some of the things we might encounter in the swamp?
Well, not really. More than what you already know from living here.
Well, you're just thinking of something I might can use to help prepare my friends. But
Well, there are gators and there are snakes and there are sometimes very dangerous insects, I suppose. You might want to watch out for that. There could be all manner of creatures. I suppose if you find any of the hobgoblins, they might not be too friendly towards you.
yeah, I hope we don't venture too far close to them if I can help it.
Well, if you're going up to Osmag, then you should not find them, as they're more southwest of you.
Well, and as I trail on, I don't want to be the bore of the RP again, but I would like to add, before I leave her, ask her maybe if there's anything on some of my journeys that I have been seeking answers on. Maybe she has found some knowledge of, particularly of if she knows anything about the name Shuzaxa.
Okay. You ask her about Shuzaxa.
Or Persephonia, the veil piercer.
Okay. Cool. She does not have any information about Shuzaxa, but she thinks she could try to go through her books again. At least she doesn't have any on the name. Persephonea, however, she knows right away. Well, Persephone is supposed to be an entity related to fate and future. Rumor and accounts indicate that she has some connection to another plane of existence. And, oh boy, her fortunes can be grim, and sometimes they may not always be what you think they are about.
I kind of got that impression when I met her.
You met her?
Yeah, I didn't know quite what to make of the fortune she gave us, but and then I'll tell her,
What did she give you, Spook?
there was the Empress was my past card. The inverted world was present, and I think it was inverted strength was future.
Well, I'm not familiar with cards, but what was the gist of it all, I suppose?
Whoop, one moment. Uh-oh.
Chaos.
I lost it. I just had it pulled up. Gosh darn it.
Do you need a little help here?
Yeah, if you've got to pull it up, I just had it in my page. Oh, here it is. The Empress was a female figure. It forced me to wander the world. the inverted world. It filled me with doubt and fear, and maybe I wasn't, supposed to succumb to that. I don't really know if my notes are very good here. And the future was the strength inverted. I do succumb to these doubts, and it can spell doom or even madness.
Well, that is a dangerous sort of way. I mean, I certainly think part of your adventurous spirit comes from your uncle, although he's not really a female. But I suppose I also bear some responsibility for that, and perhaps Plek as well. But hopefully your wanderings have not resulted in madness, although going up into Ozmag might be considered a little mad by some folk.
Yeah, that's the impression I've been getting.
It's dangerous up there, Spoot.
Well, I don't want to keep you up all night, and I'm sure I'm glad to see you. I will certainly have to come by once more before I leave, but yeah, I always treasure your wisdom and your counsel and your knowledge, and
Well, it's always good to see you, Spoot. You're always an attentive listener. I appreciate that in a youngin'.
Well, I feel like maybe I was a little different than the rest, but I certainly did appreciate my time spent with you and Plek and Uncle Newt.
Indeed, indeed. Well, you have a good night now. You get some rest. It's obvious you need it after such an ordeal like you have been on.
We're going to need it for sure before we venture out again.
All right, you have a good night now.
Good night, you.
And Skinny pops out from around a corner and jumps up to you, climbs the back of your shell, and takes a little bite out of the back of your shell, which doesn't hurt, but he kind of does this occasionally, and you just kind of pick him off and put him down.
Oh, Skinny, you better stay here tonight. I don't think you want to come with me.
Raccoon.
Oh, man, I have a friend that would love to talk to you, Skinny. I'll have to bring Olive by here one day.
So you depart and return to your home or the tent or whatever you want. And that is where we will take our little bio break here, everybody. So thank you all for watching us this evening as Spoot does the grand tour of Mucklow.
I'm done, I promise.
Hey, it's all good. It's your hometown. We all expected this. But hey, we'll be back in 5 minutes. We're going to take a quick little bio break. And thank you all for sticking around. And we'll see you after that. Short rest time, everybody. Hello, everyone. We are back. Thanks for hanging with us during that little bio break. Spoot has just left and settled down, or has left his old friend Yoon's burrow, for lack of a better term, and has returned to the party. The party has nestled down in the tent, and y'all can get a long rest unless you want to accomplish anything else.
Yay, long rest.
I would like to try something.
Yeah, what do you want?
I would like to try to use that new feat,
Ah, okay.
Ear of the Storm.
Okay.
And I would like to try to ask my dad if there's some sort of creature guarding the Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone?
Or whatever this stone... Isn't that what it is? The one?
Mind
or-
shard. Yeah.
Mind
Shard.
Shard. The Mind Stone is Avengers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, just so you know, and I don't want to like cheat you out of information here. You are looking. You are after a specific fragment of the mind shard.
Oh, okay. So I am. Is there?
Because there are many. The shards were like the original pieces
Mm-hmm.
of the Progeneris Arcanum, which was like the first crystal. The shards were the original 7 fragments, or the original 7 pieces, and the fragments are what are imbued in these items that you've been acquiring, because the shards were what were destroyed in the breaking.
So, is there anything guarding the piece of the shard that is in the ruins of Ozmag?
Great, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want you to feel cheated by like asking too vague a question here.
No, I was like trying to ask something that was like specific. Trying to ask if something was specific but vague enough.
Yep.
Because it says that I attempt to learn a secret or bit of information, and I didn't want to like be too excluding to like the question. Anyway, so it's D20 plus 5.
Plus your charisma modifier. Yep.
Boot is not the only one that can divine intervention.
Oh, I don't know how. So this is good.
11.
Okay, you ask your question but do not get an answer.
Okay.
Wah wah.
Yeah, it's divine intervention.
Cool. Yeah, you ask out, but you just get you know the feeling when you hear thunder, like that kind of rumbling vibration. You get that feeling, but no actual noise of thunder.
Is this would this be a skill check?
No,
is it
it's just
Okay.
a ability. It's just a D20 plus your charisma modifier. That's all it is.
Okay.
It's not a skill necessarily. It's a special thing.
All right.
Cool. Anything else, or does people want to get a rest?
Rest.
Rest.
All right. You all get a long rest, and you wake up the next morning, early morning, mid morning in Mucklow. You do all your morning stuff, prepping your spells, prayers, meditations, whatever. And you watch as the village is alive. People are moseying around on their errands, doing stuff. You see some kids like playing, doing whatever. Yeah. What would you like to do in this moment?
Spoot, did you want to go see a friend, or shall we shove off?
I went and had a visit to Yoon last night. I think that for now we've said hey to everyone that I wanted to say hey to before we have to leave. I might go see my parents one more time before we take off. But I can do that alone and meet you very soon.
I mean, I think it's time for us to do that.
In that case, that's the only thing I think Spoot will do that morning. He'll just go pop on, say hey to his parents, tell him that he'll be back in a little while. Maybe say hey to his little baby brother.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him he'll have some fun stories to tell him when he gets back or something.
Okay. Yeah, your parents both give you big hugs, especially your dad, because he's always been the big hugger. When you were a smaller child, he would like lift you off your feet very easily with his big bear hugs. Now that you're a fully grown turtle, he still gives you the big bear hug, but doesn't quite get you off your feet anymore. Which he laughs about. It's like, oh, you're getting big, my boy! Ha! So proud of you. And he rubs your skull.
Thanks, Dad. Don't worry, I'll be back in no time. We're just showing, we'll see a little bit more of the swamp.
You be careful, my son. You gotta come back now. Your mother gives you a big hug and tells you, be very careful, dear.
Oh, of course. I feel quite safe with my friends, so.
Well, I am glad to hear that, but I do worry. I know that we have raised you to follow your own destiny, but I'm your mother, and so I do care.
Well, yeah, I love you for that, and I can't wait to come back and see y'all, and I don't know, maybe a couple of days before we head out again.
Who has been just kind of like, okay, you're there, walks up to you and gives you a big hug on your leg, which is very adorable. And then looks up and says, I want to learn more about you. So, y'all come back. Bye.
Oh.
And he
okay.
like totters off to a corner and kind of like sits down and like plays with some like wooden toys while he watches you as you leave.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, well, Spoot just smiles ear to ear, doesn't really know what to say. I'm now like thinking I'm looking through my inventory, like, there's something I can give him. Here, hold on to this old shield. I don't need it anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Give it to
Just
a
give him
1-year-old.
Give a small child the evil shield.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't guess.
And
I have
that's where the
anything.
Turtle Death Cleric comes from.
Yeah, you thought it was Spoot, but it's his brother. Ah!
Baby brother.
Start him young.
Yeah, I don't have anything that I can give him, actually. Oh, well. Next time.
Okay. So
Here's a confidently made health potion.
So you depart your family's home, meet up with your friends. A few folks wave and they're like, "All right, y'all be careful now. Don't forget to come back now, Spoot. Don't be a stranger.
Come back now, you hear?"
And you can.
If Uncle Newt wants to gather the Ninja Turtles to come with us, I'll be okay with it. Call up Donatello.
Yeah, he'll put a call into his Renaissance friends. It'll be great.
Right, good. Okay.
And you can depart Mucklow, heading kind of north through the swamp, which is the general area of that Ozbag is kind of north. You know that it's like off of the river, the main like big river that cuts through the swamp, which Mucklow is off of a offshoot of that river. Not quite a tributary. The opposite of a tributary.
Estuary?
Estuary, thank you.
I don't know. That's the word I
I
get.
should know that, but I don't.
Estuary is where the
Ask
water.
the druid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the water, or this little bit of river that Mucklow is from, is a branch off of that main stream, or that main river.
Awesome.
So we could follow it in that general direction.
Yeah. Which I assume is what you want to do. Unless you don't, in which case, let me know.
No, we should follow the river.
Cool.
Says the druid who doesn't know what it's called.
Great. Somebody go ahead, roll me a d20, please.
Oh, any old d20, huh?
Yep. You're going into the swamp.
12.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the first day goes by without too much of an event. You're able to cover a fair bit of ground. Spoot knows the area still, so it is not a problem. And your first day goes by without a hitch.
I think on this day, Spoot's gonna maybe being a little extra paranoid that all of his friends are gonna end up hating the swamp before we're done. He's gonna be like, so, just so everyone is aware of what we should expect out here. It's not necessarily. It's a little more hostile the further you get from Mucklow, and that'll go on about the alligators and the snakes and the bugs.
The what?
Well, there's mosquitoes aren't the only insects out here, I'm afraid. But it's like all the other things we encounter, just in a swamp, right?
Sure.
I mean,
I
I don't
miss
know. I've
the
never
f-
been to a swamp.
I
so.
missed the forest that was on fire.
Well, there's definitely a little bit more wildlife here, perhaps.
That's why
Certainly
I missed
wetter.
the forest that was on fire.
It's also wetter.
Yes, it is very moist around here. Like, you can try to stick to dry land, but there's not much of it. So,
Well,
So, if I have plant growth and it causes the normal plants to be overgrown, could it make the swamp plants be a solid surface?
it could make them fill in, and you could step on them, and maybe they would buoy you a little bit, but they wouldn't create a solid surface of plants. No, it would help, but it wouldn't be like walking over like a wooden bridge would be.
Right. But if the water gets too deep anywhere, we could perhaps.
Yeah, you could maybe buoy yourselves up a bit. But
I did.
But you would essentially be making like grass and reeds grow, and that does only so much.
They live in water too.
Right.
I did think about this. So I did last night. I did prepare something that might could help us out. And now it does take a little bit of time. Actually, it doesn't take that much time at all. It's only one action. But wow, it takes exactly 6 seconds if I'm being honest.
Wow.
But I could get some of us to walk. Oh, I could get all of us to walk on top of the water if we get to a place that's a little too deep. We want to cut across.
Oh, that would be great. I don't want to go swimming in this water.
Well, why don't we try it? Let's see how it goes.
Well, as a reminder, the first day has happened. The first day is all good. You rolled for that
Yes.
already.
Oh, right. So this will happen
It's been
tomorrow.
lovely.
Yeah.
Prepare for more water tomorrow, and I have a spell for.
Cool. So yeah. So you all get another long rest in. Go ahead. Someone can roll a d20 for day 2.
I suppose I could do it.
Sure.
Do it.
I did yesterday.
Can I try my Ear of the Storm again?
Yikes!
I just want to see if I can get an answer for
Yeah.
if there's a guard.
On
If we
the
can
first day.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah,
go for it.
that reminds me.
Nope.
Unfortunately, you get that same sense of a distant storm, but no answer.
If we can help Spoot come up with 3 coherent questions, that I could try one of those too.
So, I need you to roll me a d4 for me, please.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Actually, a d6. Sorry.
You get swarmed by mosquitoes.
Nereus is taken away by a flock of mosquitoes.
I would burn this place down.
Olive cast insect plague.
Not that.
I did 2 Bugs make a right.
Cool.
And carries off 2 of your party members.
They join in. It's now a massive flock.
Cool. So like you're going through the swamp. Spoot, are you leading this expedition, or are you like what's your marching order? I guess is the question.
I feel like Spoot should be leading in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I think if we're in water, we might as well be on using my water walking spell.
Okay. So yeah, so you come to a part of a swamp, which has like some old bridges between like islands and whatever. But there's a lot of water around here, so you can avoid having to like go zigzaggy if you want to use that and just walking on the water.
Well, okay, let me make sure I'm understanding it first. I think it's going to be a spammable spell, but you can stop me if this is
Well,
getting out of
it
control.
lasts for 8 hours, so.
No, that's water
It's only
breathing.
1 hour.
Oh, that's water breathing. It lasts for 1
Yeah,
hour. Sorry,
water-
I
water
I always get them mixed up.
Wow, gosh, if the other one was only, that'd be
I'll
scarier.
take
wouldn't
water walk for 8 hours.
You're right.
Yeah, really.
But it can be ritual cast, and it says casting time is an hour. Oh, sorry, 1 action. Apologies, and it lasts an hour. So I feel like it could be spammed if we're not in combat.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it would just take 10 minutes to cast. So you could walk for 50 minutes and then
Right.
cast it again.
If we want to, if it makes up for time, if it makes it worth it, then we can do it. Or if we're in a deep spot, otherwise, whatever.
I'm fine. The question is, do you want to use it in this area?
Oh yeah, might as well, right?
Okay.
Start with it.
I can also prepare that as it's a new day.
Okay. We should just
We
maybe,
can
as
take
we use
turns.
it, take into account that an hour of walking, we should try to like land ourselves somewhere dry.
Cool.
Don't
So, yeah.
walk an hour into the ocean, for instance.
So you walk yourselves up through between a few of these islands, which is a weird sensation because you are literally just like stepping on water, and you're not getting as wet. It's quite comfortable, actually. It makes the traversing nice. But you get up to a point and you sit down. What's everybody else doing while Spoot like ritually casts these each every 50 minutes or so?
Olive is alternating with him.
Oh, had you prepared it as well?
Yes.
Cool. When you're not casting it, what are you doing?
Walking.
Bird watching.
Well, like, so he's got to stop and ritually cast it for 10
10
minutes.
minutes.
So during those 10
So while-
minutes, my
while
question
we're
is,
sitting
what is everybody doing during those 10 minutes?
Gotcha.
Keep an
Is
eye
there
out
any
for
wild?
things.
Is there wildlife?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, maybe. So you're going to look for wildlife. Cool.
We're going to have some, like,
Uh,
back bayou conversations.
You could also look for
Nereus,
the
what are you doing?
I'm just, since I have the mosquito repellent, I'm chilling.
All right, cool.
Are you looking for more mosquito repellent?
I mean, I would imagine as we're walking, I'm kind of keeping an eye out for it and just
Cool.
snagging a leaf or two.
Defect, what are you doing?
I'll just stay in guard and watch out for things.
Okay. So you're like right next to Spoot, kind of watching?
Not right next to him, but
The way you're asking is
Okay.
you're right. Yeah, just I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet
same
away.
dog,
just kinda-
same.
Does anyone else hear
Greg,
that? It's
Greg.
the swamp dog.
Greg, what are you doing?
Grig is just like poking things in the mud,
All right. So you're
poking shapes in the mud.
Greg, what happened last time when you poked plants?
Well, too bad.
Swamp cactus.
cool. So you're poking stuff in the mud, Greg. Olive, you're looking around for wildlife. Neros, you're just kind of like chilling on this island thing. Defect, you're keeping an eye out. Olive, go ahead and make a perception check. Defect, make a perception check.
11.
Great. Looking around for a variety
22.
of
And defect.
looking around for a
Alright.
variety of wildlife. there's nothing really like around here. There's like a few birds that are like flying overhead, like hundreds of feet in the air. But they're not like landing in this area, which is a little weird. Defect, you're keeping an eye out from like, are you looking in the direction you've been or the direction you're going or just kind of all over the place?
All over the place, man. All over.
Great.
Danger comes from any angle.
With a 22, you do see some bubbles rising up, not too far away from Greg, actually, who is on the other side of this island, like poking stuff in the mud. And so when a massive creature with 5 heads erupts out of the muck and mire, you will actually get to act during this first round of combat. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Aye.
Let me click my tokens.
Yeah, where'd my token go?
I think it's all on the left.
Yeah, it is.
Are you fucking joking?
Wow. Nereus.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, you are only rolling nats.
Damn.
Nats, plural.
You should find something else to roll for
Jeezy
before
crazy.
your first turn.
Honestly.
I do want to play a game now where we somehow have rigged dice that can only roll 20s or 1s, and you have to accept those, but you just don't know what you're going to get.
I feel like that would just be
50-50.
rolling odds and evens.
Basically, yeah, you're right. Roll a D2, I guess.
Roll D2.
Yeah.
Flip a coin.
that'd be a
Okay, well,
great
it's not so
time.
fun when you say flip a coin, is it?
No.
No, but
Great.
it's
Has
not
every?
just like
Do I have everybody?
skip or
I think
fail.
I do. Fantastic. So in this first round of combat, only Defect and the creature get to go. Let me bring y'all over so you can see what you're seeing.
Was it the false Hydra?
It is not as false as you might wish. Indeed.
Oh, there it is.
Rising out of the water, this massive 5-headed creature just like pretty much right next to Greg rises up out of the muck and water. Who knows how this thing hid there, but it did. But
Is that-
Defect was able to spot it.
Is that Greg in the picture?
Decidedly so. In this moment, yes.
Oh no.
Oh, hi.
I feel like that's Greg like
Yeah. So, Defect, you see this creature rise up right in front of your friend. Everybody else is surprised. Go ahead, Defect, take your turn.
All right, activate rage and run up. And I do what Defect does best: swing his axe.
Yeah, go for it. You doing anything fun or fancy, or just straight attacks?
Just to be on the safe side, I'll do just a straight attack.
All right, go for it, Mr. Raging
Actually, you know what?
Arcanaton.
No, I take that back. I will be reckless.
Okay, go for reckless.
I'll do that. Okay. And we're going.
Oh, good thing.
Good thing, indeed. A 27,
Wow.
a 27 will absolutely hit.
Excellent. That's for 12. And second swing. Oh, crap.
An 11, though, will miss. So it will take those 12 points of damage, but not the others. Cool. Anything else, Defect?
I will wave my hands in front of it as a free action
Okay.
so that it's not looking towards Grig's way.
Okay.
Or even, I guess, Olive's way if it has reach. Or, I'm sorry, Spoot's way.
Okay. Fantastic. So, go ahead. Just make a performance check for me. Just see how distracting. Or it could
Distracting, are you?
it could be intimidation if you want.
I feel like
I will take either.
I feel like Defect gets an advantage on performance these days.
Only in regards to poetry.
Well, you should
Right.
recite a poem.
Definitely recite some poetry.
Intimidation.
Okay. All right. So you're like, hey, come on. How do you try to intimidate this thing? Do you just like shout at it?
Yeah, I shout at it. I try to make myself bigger and more imposing than I am.
Cool. One of the 5 heads looks at you, and you swear it rolls its eyes. But the the creature looks down at you all, and it sees a tasty morsel in Greg, and
Tasty.
reaches down with a mighty head for a 13. Actually, no, it has advantage because Greg is surprised. So a 27 to hit.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Thanks.
Greg, you take 7 piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Another head swings down and bites Defect because Defect hit it. That is a natural 20.
Okay.
For a total of 9 piercing damage reduced to 4. Another head swings down towards Spoot. That's a 20 to hit.
Ouch.
For 8 piercing damage. Another head goes after Greg. That's a 22 to hit for 12 piercing damage. And another head goes after Greg because it wants to eat the little tasty thing that was poking at the mud.
Very tasty.
That's a 21 to hit for another 7 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then we go back to the top of the round now. You all can react now to this thing that has emerged. And Nereus, you are up at the top of the round.
Nereus is just gonna see this thing, wailing on Greg. Nereus is gonna run over 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Okay.
And he's gonna reach out and grab Brig on the shoulder. Just be like, this is probably not where you want to stand. And cast Thunder Step.
Ooh, okay.
And so I'm gonna yeah, sorry, Defect. I
Okay,
can't not
do
catch
it.
you in it. I'm gonna need a DC 18 con saving throw.
Ooh, girl. All right, let's see what it does.
Boom.
Yay!
It
Okay,
succeeds.
Take half. It takes half.
Yep.
What? Oh, it didn't roll. Did it roll?
It rolled that time.
Yes.
Now it rolled. And I'm
okay.
gonna transmute its spell, and it's gonna be 18 fire damage, so halved.
All right. Cool.
And then,
So both Defect and the Hydra take 9 points of fire damage. Great.
and then as they're just gonna kind of explode in flame as Nereus and Greg shoot over to. Why can't I? There we go. Over to where the arrow is. So if you want to move Greg.
Yep. So you'll be right here.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Just remind me, is that a teleportation thing, or do you just?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a teleportation.
All right. Cool. Then it does not get a chance to react upon it. Fantastic. Cool. Fantastic. Anything else on your turn, Nereus?
Tis all.
All right, Defect, we are up to you. All of you are
Actually, I'm
on
just gonna
deck.
bonus action
Okay.
another 10 feet. over, kind of just like once we reappear, I kind of explode back out towards the beast a little bit.
Okay.
All right. I am reckless again, and I'm swinging my axe.
All right.
Ooh, 14.
A 14 will not hit.
And not good. All right. Second time. Oops.
A 27 will hit for 9 points of damage.
And then I'm going to shift over to this way.
Okay.
And again, try to distract it as to not hit Spoot.
Okay. Sure, go ahead. Make an intimidation check to see if you can scare it this time.
I don't know why it's hitting it twice. 15.
Okay. It is let's see here. It is like you get its attention, but like you get 1, maybe 2 of the head's attention, maybe 3. It's hard to distract a 5-headed creature on your own. Because like
I mean, 3 out of 5 ain't bad.
I mean, yeah, but
If-
like it's just hard to do. But cool, you do that. Olive, you turn and you see this crazy thing going on.
Cool. Olive is going to cast Erupting Earth underneath it.
Okay. What is
It's
that?
a 20-foot cube.
Ooh, okay.
That it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
For a second, I thought it said 120-foot cube, and I was like, well, fuck all of us.
No, a 20-foot cube. So kind of, that is the wrong.
I think that's the whole.
So like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And it makes a dex save on this.
Yep. Correct.
Ooh, that is a fail.
All right. It takes 18 bludgeoning damage,
All right.
and the ground in that area is difficult terrain.
Okay. Good to know. Anything else on your turn?
Nope. That's that. I think that sums it up. I'm pretty happy where I am. Pretty far from the Hydra.
you want to get closer?
No, I'm
Cool.
good.
So you cast your erupting earth, and it just the whole like mucky swamp like just erupts around it, splashing muck and dirt all over the place.
Makes a big mess.
Yeah.
Scooter's like, yay!
It's fun. The creature does move up a little bit, kind of in this direction here. Let's see. Let me just double check its speed. Okay. It does like have trouble getting out of the area, but it is able to get just out of it with its like a slurking movement. Meanwhile, in so doing, 3 heads go for defect. One.
But defect gets to swing too.
Yep, he would. I believe all 3 hit. That's a 27, a 25, and a 25.
Jeez Louise.
Well, he was
Doesn't he
reckless, so he had advantage.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank God he's
Doesn't
raging
it-
at least.
Doesn't he get to smack it before it moves, though?
He gets to smack it when it leaves his range. Yeah, he does.
So that, yeah.
So that is, let's see, 12 plus 13 is 25, plus
25.
6 is
31.
31. So you take 15 piercing damage, all things considered.
Unless you kill it first.
Yeah.
So go ahead. If you want to use your reaction, you can make an attack.
I will.
Right, go for it. 26
Huh?
will
Oh,
hit.
yeah?
Oh wait, no,
Alright.
you're still reckless.
Does reckless last for the entire turn or
Yeah,
the
it's until
round?
the beginning of your next
Yeah,
turn.
it does.
Oh, great,
exactly.
cool. So then, yeah,
Yeah.
natural 20, which is great. So that's 18. Fantastic. Very cool.
I'm gonna double check actually. Reckless.
He falls
Yeah,
dead.
all
Um,
enemies still have advantage on you until the beginning of your next turn.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yes,
and then
which you
that
did.
is a 26 against Nereus for
Hello?
hey, you heard it with fire.
I did.
Suit's like, don't attack it. Maybe it'll ignore you.
That's 13 piercing damage, and an 11 against Spoot, which misses. Doesn't get past the shell on you.
He went to pick me up, and he's like, "Arr."
Yeah, he's like, too gristly.
These damn turtles.
Right.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Does it because of my feat, the versatile weapon master? Because I did the crit, do I get a bonus attack with that, or just a reaction?
You're a great weapon master, you mean?
Yeah,
No, because it's not your turn anymore, so you don't get a bonus action.
just a
on your
reaction.
turn.
Okay.
Yeah, bonus actions on your turn, but only reactions when not on your turn.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. That brings us then to Greg.
That's me.
Yeah.
My original plan still holds true.
Firebolt.
Which
Flee.
is
Fireball.
Fireball.
Wait,
Oh, right.
If I base
Yes.
it here, oops, wrong thing. I think if I base it here, it's the 20-foot radius.
holy.
Yeah, and it catches it. Oh, so maybe over a little, just to catch it, obviously.
right
miss
there.
it.
We're gonna feel the heat.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
eyebrows will be singed.
Yeah.
My eyebrows will be singed.
Yes, they
Have
will.
eyebrows?
Yes.
That's a fair point. My beak is singed.
All right. So it will make
now you don't have
a
to cook your fish for
dex
breakfast.
save.
16 dex save.
It fails. It is a big, clunky creature rocking through mud.
Boom.
Oh, nice timing.
Yes.
Well done. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Amazing.
So you let go this little bead of pew and
No.
and massive explosion occurs, and it takes 36 fire damage. Wow.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna run
Oh,
away.
You got so many sixes. That was awesome.
I'm gonna run this way
Oh,
now.
sorry, I was muted.
So-
Counter spell.
Chaotic.
So
Greg's
one of the
fireball.
heads gets blasted apart by this, and like it's just burned, and it's so badly burned that it like falls off at the neck.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That smells nice.
Ooh.
How does it smell?
Pretty bad actually.
Like you could go fishing with it?
Yep. Yeah, pretty gross. Cool. Yeah.
The dog.
Sorry.
Hi, puppy.
Is it my turn?
Cool. It is now Spoot's turn. Yes.
Medicine check?
On the
my
on the
eyebrows.
creature?
On Nereus's eyebrows, yes. On the creature.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
I'm like, how far off is this thing now?
It's big. It's hard to tell. Like it definitely got hurt by that fireball, and like its head is like, "Brr," but yeah, it's
Got lots
big.
of heads.
Yeah.
A lot
Question:
of heads.
Is
You
it
wanna-
close? What's
You
up?
want to tell us what kind of creature this is?
Yeah, actually, that was my next question. Do I know what this is? Because my joke was going to be Spood looks up from trying to ritual cast Warlock,
make
and he goes, "Oh
a-
yeah, those."
Make an Arcana check
I forgot to mention
with,
those.
with advantage because like you're from here.
Arcana check.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
You mentioned mosquitoes and alligators, and you failed to mention this thing.
The
You
Hydra.
you kind of missed something.
I'm gonna. Yeah, that's a big thing. I'm gonna also use my special thing. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
To add a +4.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
God, I need it.
With a 17, you do know that this is a creature called a Hydra, and that has many heads, and like it is something that like people like generally avoid. Yeah, go
Say.
figure.
How does
Yeah.
one avoid? Stay out of swamp.
They are surprisingly stealthy for their size. They tend
Oh,
to
yeah.
like they tend to lie in wait like in shallow waters and then rise up and snack on unsuspecting things.
Present. We are unsuspecting snacks.
Yeah.
Yikes. Oh
There-
yeah, I should have mentioned
There's
this,
not
guys.
many.
Sorry.
And like there's not many around, and like you know, there's rumors of like really big ones, but like this one is pretty big.
Okay. Well, the good news is if we kill it, we're one step closer to extinction.
I feel like a spoot thing to say. Although
No, it's
he's
definitely
been
not.
spending a lot of time with us.
Too much.
Cool.
Trip us into not killing the thing that's trying to eat
Okay,
Greg.
so Spoot, what else
Yeah.
would you like to do on your turn?
Okay. Is it close enough that I can touch it?
It's right next to you.
Sure looks like it.
Did you ask permission first?
This spell does not have to be consensual. I hope.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Fireball. No, I'm just kidding. One sec. Let me make sure it's not a willing creature. No, it's not. Specifically not.
No,
I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna reach out and touch this thing and
Yep.
cast tongues.
Reach out and touch it.
catching tongues.
Yeah, I'm
Tongues?
trying something crazy. Bear with me.
Okay,
That's a lot of tongues.
okay, you cast tongues on the creature.
It lasts 1 hour.
Sure, sure does.
Okay, that was my action.
Okay,
Chat with the Hydra.
okay, great.
Down,
Uh,
cat.
You have tongued the Hydra. Good job. That
And, so it can, if the target were to speak, any creature that knows at least one language can hear the target and understand what it says.
great. Cool.
Great.
Great. Nereus, back to the top with you. You've been bit.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna move. now.
I did.
Oh, you're
that
gonna move?
visit.
It's fine.
So as Grig's fireball goes off, Nereus is going to say, "Oh, I'm gonna borrow that," and kind of just re-up Grig's fireball explosion.
Okay.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah, I'm casting
Really?
the same spell, and I'm gonna use a
Like
power
cast in the same
spell.
place.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
using your magic to bolster mine.
Nice.
All right, go for
Cool.
I have fireball. Where's fire? There's fireball. I was gonna say I never get rid of the spell.
Nah.
Oh, ignore the second one.
it. Okay.
So that'd be a 30. So I need a DC 18 Dex save, and I'm gonna re-roll a couple of those.
It fails.
Boom.
If only it
that
had
wasn't-
that advantage.
That wasn't better. So I took away 7 and rolled 7.
All right, so it takes the full 30. Another head just like gets torched away. So like it's down 2 heads.
And then I'm
Oh.
going to use Tempestuous Winds to get the 10 feet unprovoked flying.
Okay.
Kind of just like book it.
All right, cool. That brings us to defect.
I am reckless and swinging.
Are you going to move into range?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Sorry.
Defect has a 10-foot reach.
They just
A
swinging in
They're
there.
spinning around like a
a
Tasmanian
25 hits for 18 damage. Wow, that's big.
And
I don't like the sound of that. It sounds like a DM who is reconsidering how to kill us.
A 15 also hits for another 11. Defect, you chop through another one of this thing's heads. It's only got 2 left.
Oh,
Yes.
Man. Get it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
well, I might
Um,
have just wasted a spell, and I could have probably just tried to kill it.
That brings us
Trying to
to
kill- You're
Olive.
trying to talk
But
to
there's-
something trying to eat your friends.
This is what Spoot does. He tries to talk to things.
Yep.
He's
Why-
Highly
stealing
impaired.
Sarah's shtick.
I'm
How about,
hiding it.
well, I'm reclaiming it. It used to be mine.
It
Oh.
fails.
Like,
It fails.
Whoa.
38 points of necrotic damage.
Holy shit, where are these spells coming from?
You are level 11.
Fuck yeah, Blight.
Maybe I shouldn't be casting tongues.
Hey,
I thought you said you're blinding it, and I was like, all right.
38 points of blinding.
No.
yeah. Wow.
Light.
Jeez.
It can end the world.
That covers
It can
most
end
of its
the Hydra.
eyes.
That's amazing.
Oh, I don't like this. Jared's like, all right, note to self: try to kill party harder next time.
No, this is fantastic.
Next
It's
time,
so
2
good.
hydras.
Everything has magic resistance now.
Oh God.
Right.
You
Yeah,
find
no,
the
Olive.
hydra nest.
How do you blight this thing and kill it?
Whoa.
It just the black energy just like hits it, and where between its remaining 2 heads, and they just kind of go.
Cool. So
Just
Die.
melt.
so between the 2 heads that are like burned away, the other head that gets chopped off, these last 2 get blasted by this like greeny black energy from Olive, and they just kind of shrivel and waste away, and like the heads crumble and like the necks become these jagged like remaining pieces, and the body just crashes down onto the ground, dead and not moving.
You know, says Spoot, there aren't many of these left in the swamp.
Sorry,
Good.
Spoot. Did you want to talk to that?
Well, not exactly.
Hit me.
Yeah, no,
Greg yells from
Yeah.
afar.
I mean, I wanted it to leave us alone.
I only talk to willing creatures.
Well, you must listen. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm glad that ended sooner than I expected.
Yeah, good job.
That is
you
one
all
less of this
handily
creature.
took care of it.
Wow,
I fucking love blight.
something
It's my
tells me we're
favorite.
gonna see that again.
Very cool.
Chimera Hydra.
Good job.
Okay, well, I definitely forgot to mention that those exist, but I honestly thought that the chances were so low.
Yeah, you could have mentioned that. You mentioned the mosquitoes, and you failed to mention the giant bitey thing.
Well,
Now, is there anything
To be
else?
fair, they are like more of like an urban legend rumor.
yeah, I've never actually seen one.
Well, now you got a story for your
They-
friends back home.
They exist, obviously. Wow.
So, Spoot, is there anything else in this swamp that you would like to warn us about?
Actually, that's a DM question. Can I like nature check the swamp?
Sure,
Anything
you
else?
can make a nature check with advantage
yeah.
because it's your home turf.
Greg wants to
Well,
take
interestingly,
like, a skill or
didn't
something,
matter.
too.
While he's
Um,
investigating that, can Olive try to yank a tooth out of one of the remaining the remaining unwithered head that's been decapitated? The decapitated head is the only one that still has teeth.
Sure. Like the teeth are massive, but yeah, you can
Mhm.
try. Go ahead, make a strength check. With a 15, like,
Yeah.
with a 10, no, you can't quite
Yeah.
pull it out.
I'll kick it anyway.
Can
Fair
I
enough.
get like a scale or something to stick in one of my random beakers or jars?
Yeah, make a survival check.
I can read. 8.
You have a hard time thinking out. This thing isn't really scaled; it's more just like leathery flesh, and like it's very tough, and you have a hard time cutting through it.
All right. Sounds good.
Spoot, like there are always rumors that like deep in the swamp there's like, evil creatures, like some kind of like terrible cobra
5-headed monster.
thing.
A terrible cobra thing.
Yeah, there's like a terrible cobra thing. There's like rumors of like like alligator monsters, like beyond like a regular alligator, like some kind of crazy alligator vicious thing that like stalks on 2 legs.
A
There's,
Florida gator.
yeah, people always claim like there are dragons or like skeletons or like various forms of undead, like especially up by Osmag where you're going. But in the general vicinity of like Mucklow where you live, that stuff isn't around.
Okay, so I have to come clean. When I left Mucklow, I went the other direction. So, I mean, of course, there are the rumors of Ozmag, which you've heard by now. There may or may not be a dragon
And dead things.
and dead things, but in the
Dragons.
swamps, I suppose I should mention, since we just saw a thing I wasn't sure existed, there could be some terrible cobra creature, and maybe some sort of alligator monster. I just thought people were seeing really large lizard folk in the dark and confusing them, but maybe it's something worse.
Cool.
That's a lot of things that could be in this swamp.
True,
And that was a pretty big thing.
but we killed it.
Yes.
Whether we should
But-
have or not for the ecosystem doesn't matter.
What this we, Kimosabi, the rest of us killed it. You tried to talk to it.
I had an idea
Probably.
that I won't bother to discuss because it won't matter, and I think I'll maybe continue to cast water walking and walk away in shame.
I'm
All
thinking I'm
10 minutes later,
Liar.
Spook walks away in shame.
Yeah, give me 10 minutes to cry a little bit, and by the time my spell will be ready.
Cry an magical Aquan.
You're right. I'm empowered
it
by
up,
my
man.
tears. Yeah, I guess I'm ready to go now.
Cool. All right. So you all begin walking again. Like that was, around midday, and like no problem for y'all in your strength that you are now. So as you walk, you walk for a few more hours, without too much of any bother, really. It seems like the Hydra that once predatoried this area, like things
Preyed upon?
preyed upon this area, kept
Yeah.
things kind of cleared out.
Ah.
Sure. You got a big thing like that, there's not going to be a whole lot of medium predators.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, it's good for you. You come to a part of the swamp that is more grassy and land-ridden. Land-ridden? Sure. Land up. It's more solid land. There's still water and, pools and, rivers and stuff around. But there's, an actual path here you could follow for a little while.
Cool.
Go ahead. Spoot, you're leading the way. Go ahead, make a perception check.
No.
Oh, I am not doing so well
Cool.
today.
Yeah. You lead your friends right along
Into a death trap.
into a
Mhm.
death trap. Until you come around a big tree with a bunch of branches and whatever.
It's great.
You know how swamp trees are twisted and because they're trying to get all the sun they can, but they're always competing. You turn a little corner, and there are 4 lizard folk in front of you.
Hi.
The Gator Men. Just kidding. Do they see us?
Yeah, they're 15 feet away from you.
Oh, says Spoot. Hi.
Oh, hello.
Sorry to get in your way. We're just passing through.
What brings you here, Tortle?
Well, I
Says this first one that looks, looks to be in charge of this group of 4.
Spoot hasn't gotten very far by lying in the past, so I think I'll just come clean. We heard there's some interesting ruins in this swamp.
It's tourists looking for some ruins.
He just kind of looks at you expressionless, but beady eyes staring at you.
We
What are you doing here, Tortle? He replied.
Well, we're traveling toward Ozmag. Have we crossed into your boundary? Should I go around?
This is our area. You should go around.
Okay.
Unless you want trouble. And I don't think you do, Tortle.
No, we'll wait and save all our trouble for when we get to Ozmag. So
Yeah, we're just gonna push through towards Ozmag and
So,
we're
we're gonna go around.
Yeah.
If you can direct us in the direction we should head to clear out of your area.
Yeah, he points like off to the left.
Inside, is it?
Make an
Like-
insight check.
Okay, is he like being a dick? Or
Have
is
you
it?
considered fences?
Ooh,
28.
a 28. Yeah, with a 28, this guy does not want you in the area. You get the sense that like this, like, it's not that he's claiming to like live here, but like this area is important to him. For some reason, like deeply, almost like there's something that he just wants. And with this area, like maybe he's looking for something or someone, or maybe he's got like a spiritual connection to it. You're not sure, but he's not. It's not like an "I live here. This is my yard. Get out." This is like a "I don't want anyone in this area while I'm here." But
Interesting.
but you don't get the sense that he wants to like he doesn't want to like fight you, but he will if he has to.
Okay. It doesn't feel nefarious though, right? Just that he's like
So
personal.
it is hard to get an exact read on whether or not like because you don't have any context really.
Right.
So like you don't know if it's nefarious or not. You just know that like he definitely doesn't want other people in this area for whatever reason.
Do I know if lizard folk speak Aquan? I can speak, but I know that
you're not sure what like as a like they probably speak a language of their own. They obviously speak Common, but
Sure.
like you don't know what every individual may speak.
Sure. I mean, well, I guess I was like, would it be a safe assumption that lizard folk of this area might? I'm gonna attempt something as I go to pass. I'm gonna look at them.
You tend to know, and actually you would know this because you speak it. They tend to speak Draconic a lot, but you're not sure if there are like others who may speak Aquan.
Okay. Well, I also speak Draconic. I don't remember who else in my party does, but I think I'm going to look at them sincerely and as I'm walking off and say,
Greg knows a couple of phrases.
if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. In Draconic.
His eyes kind of narrow at you, and he just like raises his arm off to the left again.
Okay.
Question: How far out are we from Ozmag?
Are you asking me or?
No, I'm asking the
Lizard
reptile.
dude.
He kind of looks over at you. He's like, "Meat shouldn't ask questions. Meat should leave."
I don't know who you're referring to as meat, but I know it's not me.
Well, we're just gonna go now. I think.
No. I
There is-
asked a question and I would like an answer.
He may not know, but I know the answer because I'm leading us to Ozmag. So we're gonna go a little further.
You led us this way.
Well, it's okay. I know how to get around.
I hope
Yes.
you don't run into this meat again, because it's not going to be friendly to you.
And as I leave in Draconic, I'll say, he's not joking. Have a good day.
You're learning.
So you see the leader guy like eyes you as you Spoot as you turn around, and like eyes your party, and definitely watches as you all walk away.
As we go off, I'll say, if I feel like we're out of earshot, I'll say, he's looking for something. I don't know what, but he doesn't want anyone in the area while he's searching. And this seems to be the lizard folk that my uncle were telling me about, the ones that are maybe causing trouble in this part. No clue what their searching for, but I'm going to try to make note of this area in my map, in my notes, just in case.
Easy
Well,
enough
I
to
could
do.
buy you that book.
Yes.
I mean, aside from the runes, are there anything that are of value or of worth that these lizard folk could be looking for?
I really don't know. I mean, I even asked Plek what one might could find here, but you don't know. There could be anything, especially considering Ozmag was once a dragonborn city. I don't know if that would have any importance to the lizard folk, but the fact that a spellstorm took it from somewhere else and placed it here could have thrown all sorts of things buried in the swamp.
Fair.
Unfortunately, I don't know much about the lizard folk. As I was growing up here, they always just sort of lived out on the fringes away from Mucklow. We've never really had a problem with them, but it seems like lately they've been roaming around a bit more in the swamp, interacting, getting a little closer to some turtle settlements and such.
Well, I can't imagine that would cause a problem. They're terribly friendly.
Well, thankfully the turtles usually are.
Except for Tent.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So you all head away. The rest of the day passes without incident. And you can bed down for the night and get a long rest.
Can I ask my dad again if there's a...
Yeah, you can do it once a day until you get a response, I believe.
Gonna keep asking until he gives me an answer.
Sorry. Valentina says hi, everyone.
Oh, hi, Valentina.
18.
Cool.
Hello.
You get a thunderous feeling throughout your entire body, almost as if like you were struck by lightning in a weird way.
Uh-huh.
But the answer is interesting. It's like, if it's valuable, probably. I don't. I don't know this Ozmag, but sure, why not?
Oh, so useful.
Yes.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes. Unfortunately, like the entity you know is not all-knowing, and you're asking a not draconic-related entity about a draconic ruin, so not very familiar with the area.
He's old as hell. Thought I might ask.
No, it's a good thing. This particular instance, he's not very familiar with it. But yeah, but hey, he might have.
Okay. I finally am going to try a similar thing to what Nereus has been trying.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Let me
I
make sure
just
can
want to
do-
know if something's gonna try to kill us as soon as we get near the shard.
I mean, does
Right.
that ever happen? Has that ever happened even once?
Yeah.
I think
Wait,
one
what?
time we got close.
Wait, that was sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make sure I can do it.
Me? Sarcasm.
Sure, you do go on. So what do you want to do, Spoot?
One moment, sorry. There's a quick question. Do I know how far away we are from Ozbek? Like, rough guess?
I mean, you figure it's another like 2 days, to like the general area of Ozmag.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because again, like nobody has like mapped out the ruins. It's just known that there are ruins over in that direction. That is Ozmag, and people stay away from it.
Here there be ruins.
Here there be ruins. Okay, well, what I'd like to try for the first time is commune, however you want to say it.
Commune. Yeah.
Commune. Let me cast it, and I get 3 questions, and we all know how good I am with these, so let's see how this goes.
Great. Do it.
You just you want to ask them to be just specific enough, but also just vague enough.
Oh boy. Well, they are yes or no questions, I think.
Oh, is it the yes or no ones?
Yeah, this one is.
Oh, okay. So you could just be like, is there a creature guarding the shard in Ozmag? Or
Right.
something like
That
And
actually.
we should start with, is the shard still there?
Right. It's just like
Yeah, so the first question
pain in the ass.
is, well, I typed them up, and I guess I'm just going to accept what I've
Okay.
typed
So
up.
you
It's
have a
not made
minute
easy.
to ask all 3 questions. What's your first question?
Should I be concerned with what the lizard folk are searching for? And it would specify, like, in the swamp. Question 1.
Okay, you ask that question, and you hear a familiar voice. It depends. They are seeking a relic of a. They are seeking a relic of their god. Who knows if it's good or not?
Good answer. Second question: is there a shard? That would be specific of the shards we're searching for in Ozmag.
Oh, Spoot. I believe so. Yes.
Okay, great. That's fair enough. And is there a dragon in Ozmag?
No, Spoot. I don't believe so.
Okay,
Nice.
interesting. All right.
I like
Thank
that
you.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll be like, thank you so much for your, I don't know, whatever I would say. Clerically, I think Spoot would be kind of awkward. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Play back later.
you definitely recognize the sound of that like silver skin, the voice of that silver skinned woman.
Okay, that was it on that, I guess. So maybe I'll try again another day.
Cool. All right. So the day comes to a close. You can all get a rest in.
Oh, we like resting.
Cool. Go ahead. Everybody can apply a long rest. Nothing occurs throughout the night.
I'll tell the party that what my answers were. I didn't ask if there was something guarding, but I was a little more specific, and I don't believe so is the answer on whether there's a dragon. So I
It's a
don't
little
know.
reassuring now.
Yeah, at least it's not a dragon.
Yeah.
Cool.
It could be the horrible cobra thing, but it's not a dragon.
It's true.
Great. You get up. Go ahead. Roll me a d20, somebody, for this day of travel.
Should I, since I'm doing the travel?
No.
You did it yesterday.
Oh, copy.
Who hasn't done one yet?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh, good lord.
Okay.
Nearest.
Cool. Nearest, go ahead. Roll me a d6.
What if I say no?
Then I will choose.
Oh.
Don't say no. Don't say no.
Yeah, no, I don't like that answer. 6!
All right. Cool. So you travel most of the day without too much of an incident.
And then a vampire appears.
Which is good. As you travel yourselves along, so you've all had a long rest. Your hit points are up at max. You're traveling along, Spoot leading the way, and you begin to see like parts of ruins, like no buildings yet, but you see like pieces of roadway that like rise up out of the swamps and sink in. You get the general sense that you're kind of going in the right direction. And following these roadways kind of along for a bit, you're, going along, and suddenly a shadow passes over your heads through the canopy and lands in front of you, and a massive black dragon is before you now.
Oh, hello.
Seems like perhaps my sources were misinformed.
You
You.
will be my dinner.
No, thank you.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session of Nuuli
We have a
Forged.
powerful spellcaster in our midst. You should run away.
Also, we're not very tasty.
Especially me.
Well, we'll find out what happens with a massive black dragon that has appeared before you. Next week here on... Well, actually not next week, because we will be taking off for Thanksgiving. So the week after, on the 30th, right? The 30th? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
So we will see what happens then with the black dragon, which, by the way, is about 40 feet tall. Like it is gargantuan.
Cool.
It is massive, and it has landed not 10 feet from Spoot. So
Do you know who else is really tall? Defect when I turn him into a giant ape.
we'll see.
Can you
This is like
polymorph?
Godzilla, King Kong.
Yeah, can you polymorph into a dragon yet?
No. Ninth level spells.
Yes,
He gets
it's
even
a very
bigger,
bad
and
dragon.
he turns into a giant ape, and then I enlarge him.
I like this.
Spook's like, you know what? This was a bad
Really
idea. Let's
awesome.
all go back to Mucklow. Let's have a bit of fishing.
Yeah, it's hard for a giant ape to be effective against a flying dragon, but we'll see. Hey,
That's fair.
hey, no, spend your spell slots. It's not like the dragon can strafe and breathe poison on you.
Good news is he already speaks our language, so I don't have to cast tongues.
Hey, look at that. Always be efficient. It's going to be great.
Yep. Though he's already conversing with us.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Really wish I hadn't prepared it today.
Well, fantastic. Good session, everybody. I hope we all had fun. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Thank you, I've Got It in chat. Thank you, NYC Zom, for your both of your subscription renewals. Thank you very much. And we hope that you all had fun watching Spoot Tonga Hydra.
Tune in next week when never mind.
Hey, we've got to find out what happens to that dead Hydra that's been tongued. Hey, you never know.
Spoot's back there casting Speak with Dead. One more time.
What? No, just,
I cast tongues.
I really just want an answer to this question. So let's go
Is there
around.
a dragon?
No, not at all. Well, you were told there is not a dragon in Osmag. So
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I had
That's
to be
because-
that specific.
That's
Hey.
because it's here.
yeah, it was apparently much closer than than anyone thought it was.
You did that on purpose.
I didn't roll the die.
I should have just let you. No, you probably would have picked this too.
I probably would have.
On his list, it's like 1 through 9 is dragon, 11 through 20 dragon, 10 is like
No matter what you rolled, it was going to be dragon. No.
dragon.
But it
It's
might
all
be a different color.
always bet on dragon. Always bet on dragon. That's right.
Me too,
Doggo.
buddy. Me too, buddy.
Cool. Let's go around and say our goodbyes, and we'll figure out who we're going to raid here. Let's start with the guy who was super late. Let's start with Mike. Just kidding, you weren't super late, just a few minutes. But yeah, Defect. Go
I
for
was
it.
late. 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I apologize. Work. But thank you all for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Next we'll go to Amber.
That's me. I'm still Amber. I played Greg, who was sleepy today.
And got bitten by a Hydra.
Got very
Aw.
bitten by a Hydra, but then blew that mofo up.
Mhm.
Yeah, you did.
Very
I would like
impressed.
to say thanks to Discord for allowing backgrounds.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well planned.
Yeah, no, I think that's all I got.
Very cool. Then down to Olive.
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm Sarah. I have been Olive. Since while you're all having a happy Thanksgiving next week and you've got some time off, what a great time to catch up on our past episodes on YouTube. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at least until it self-explodes. And yeah, come back and watch us the week after that. And subscribe,
The dog.
like, and moan, and all those things. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Wonderful. Down to Nereus. Nereus.
Hi, I'm Nereus. Thank you for watching us. And tune in next time to watch us all get eaten by a dragon.
Tasty Vittles. And Spoot.
Hi, I'm Matt. I've been playing Spoot, what did we call myself at the beginning of the episode? I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
What?
Anyway,
We've
would
all
have been
forgotten.
funnier if I had remembered. Good night.
Great, love it. And I've been Jared, your humble dungeon master here. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to raid Magia RPG, let them know that they've been newly raided. Everyone have a good Thanksgiving if you are celebrating that in the United States. Everyone be safe, be kind, be smart, be compassionate to people. You never know what someone's going through. And, don't be a dick. How about that? Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick, no death.
You
yes.
tell him, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen to the dog. Thank you, Ives Got It, for being a great mod. Thank you for the socials. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you all have a safe, happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you next time here on Nuuli Forged on November 30th for episode 98 of our adventures. And apparently there's going to be a big-ass black dragon. It's going to be amazing.
The 98th and last episode.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What an episode to end
The
on.
final, I'm concerned about the 100th now.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Well, thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, goodbye,
Bye.
goodbye,
Bye.
goodbye.
Black.